Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Missanelli Show. A day that should be very active with praise. Listen. I looked at both of those teams last night, right? And I understand how the Eagles struggled in the first half. But I didn't think that the Washington Commanders were ready for prime time. The Eagles are the prime time team. The other team is not. And I thought you saw that clearly last night. When you have a defense that plays the way the Eagles defense has been playing, and then you have the ability to rebound from kind of a lackluster type of offense to get it going when it's most important, that's a sign of a good team. And last night was a big test for them, and they passed it with flying colors. The Eagles on their way now, and now it's just a matter of can they be good enough to actually win enough games to get a number one seed. Last night, to me, I was looking at it going, okay, I thought the Eagles were going to win that game. I thought that they were better prepared as far as their seniority and their growth of a team more than the Washington Commanders. And that's the way it played out. I mean, you could definitely see that other team's quarterback was a little overmatched, and that team is not ready for prime time. But the Eagles are. And they're rolling right now. And we can pick apart this game. We can pick apart what they didn't do in the first half. But in the second half, they have an MVP candidate who took over the game and a defense that took over the game. And I don't know what more to say other than they're solid, man. That was a solid victory that they had last night. So, Billy Boy, I know yesterday you were arguing the merits of the Eagles being the better team in the NFC, and I assume that after you witnessed last night, you were still on that track.
I'm feeling great today, Mike. Look, it's Thursday night football, and Thursday night games, we know they're going to be sloppy. You got the short week. You don't rest as much. You can't game plan as much, so I didn't expect them to come out firing on all cylinders, and Jalen didn't look great in that first half. The offense looked a little off in that first half. But when you have a defense as good as the Philadelphia Eagles do now, and this is no longer, oh, well, look at who they're playing. This Commanders offense was a very good offense coming in, and this defense shut them down again. You have Quinyon Mitchell. He may be the best rookie I've ever seen in an Eagles uniform. What he is doing to top wide receivers in the NFL is impressive. Jalen Carter, a defensive tackle, played 100% of the defensive snaps last night and looked like he was disrupting almost every single play. Zach Bond, all over the field. Cooper DeJean, another rookie, playing well. Reed Blankenship with an interception. I'm so excited about this defense. Josh Sweat gets a sack. Brandon Graham gets a sack. Even Nolan Smith, who I had written off before the season saying this guy's not passing the eye test for me, he's playing well. This defense, when you can play like they're playing, and then you come back to offense and you have guys like Saquon and Goddard and Devontae and A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts even turned it on and did enough with his legs late. This team, they could beat anybody. I mean, this is what we've been saying for a couple of weeks on this show. There is no reason why fans shouldn't look at this Eagles team and say that they are not true contenders. They can beat anyone, and they proved it last night. I'm fired up. I had a hard time sleeping because I was so excited last night.
Well, let's look at this defense, because when we came in, we go, okay, this is a rebuilt defense. There's all these new personnel. And when it started out this year, we're going, is Fangio really, as advertised? But they have really grown into a very good defense. And you're right, all those guys you mentioned have been key parts of it. When you're talking about a rookie on a dynamic wide receiver who makes plays for that team every week, and they were afraid to even throw the football to him. They couldn't even target the guy because he obviously wasn't getting separation, wasn't open, wasn't running patterns that they normally run. And so you're right. To me, it's been the defense. We can look at the offense. They're obvious. They're dynamic players. Saquon Barkley is playing out of his mind and has given them such a lift. But it's the defense that I did not expect to come together like it has. So you got to give credit to the personnel that they selected. You got to give credit to Fangio. Defense is where I look at with this team right now. So that was it last night. So let's look at the key moment of the game. I mean, the Commanders and their head coach helped the Eagles a little bit. It's midway through the fourth quarter. The Commanders are trailing, and they had a 2nd and 1, if you remember. Forget about what they did on fourth down. They had a 2nd and 1 on the 25. Carter and Dean stuffed Brian Robinson for no gain on a play that didn't look very assertive for Washington. And then the third down play with Brandon Graham and Zach Bond stopping Robinson again for a loss of 1. And somehow, with a chance to take the lead, the head coach decides to go for it on 4th and 2. It's kind of like a juggled snap, and Jaden Daniels is running to the sideline trying to get the first down, and he's chased down. Boom, and that's the end. I don't know that the commentators realized it was 4th down. Because, I think Al and Kurt Herbstreit missed the fact that it was 4th down. But that was, to me, what turned that game around. Them going for it there with a chance to take the lead, and then the Eagles come down and score, which makes it a 2-score game as they go up 19 to 10 at that point.
Did not understand Dan Quinn's thought process there at all, because Jake Elliott, at that point in the game, had already missed 2 field goals and an extra point. So it's a 12-10 game. You could kick a 44-yard field goal to take the lead to make it 13-12, which really would have been like a touchdown lead, because you couldn't trust that Jake Elliott was going to be able to come down and make a field goal last night. So why not take the lead at that point in the football game? Terrible decision by Dan Quinn, but a great job by the Eagles defense to stop them, and then an even better job by the offense to answer. They go 5 plays, 74 yards after that turnover on downs for a touchdown, and that really put the game away. But a terrible decision by Dan Quinn, not a bad decision by our head coach, Nick Sirianni.
No, I don't know what Quinn was thinking there. Like you could sometimes maybe the analytical chart said the success rate on that play, but it's time and score, and at that point you want the lead. Not only you want the lead, but if they score, you can score to go ahead in the game. If you don't make it, they come down to score a touchdown. You get, it's a 2-score game. Like, I don't understand how some of these thought processes go, but it benefited the Eagles, certainly.
It did. It benefited the Eagles. But as we're talking about the coaches, and I'm not going to praise Sirianni yet, I want to talk about Kellen Moore for a second, because the running game wasn't necessarily working early. It wasn't as effective as I thought it was going to be. You were going up against the Commanders' rushing defense that was in the bottom of the NFL. I thought the Eagles would have their way the entire game. They didn't, but you have to give Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni credit. They stuck with the run. They kept feeding it. And you just knew, we've seen it now, 10 games. You just keep giving the rock to Saquon. He's going to break one. The offensive line's too good. You give him a lane, and Nate certainly did in that game a couple of times. He ends up finishing with 146 yards on the ground. And how about Kenny G getting involved? Kenny Gainwell with a couple nice carries.
Yeah, I didn't understand what they were trying to do in the first half. To me, not targeting A.J. Brown a lot in that first half. They were targeting Dotson a couple times. I didn't get that, why Smith and A.J. Brown weren't involved. It was a sluggish first half. I didn't really know what they were doing. But you're right. In the end, and he's such a closer, Saquon Barkley, he gets stronger as the game goes along, and they decided to put him in play, and it paid off. So let's look at the only wrinkle. Well, actually, there's 2 wrinkles. The one disastrous trick play that they tried for foolish reasons that didn't work and really kind of knocked them backwards. But the kicker. Now, kickers he has been a very steady kicker. But kickers, in a lot of ways, are like relief pitchers who have been successful, and all of a sudden they fall off the horse. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen to Elliott. Maybe it was just a bad night. But kickers go sour, and I just hope that this is not the case with this guy. You saw last night, it's like when I always relate it to golf, when you have the duck hook, and he had the duck hook last night. And so, so he's out of sync with that. He's not hitting the ball right. His leg position is not in the right place. He doesn't have the good C swing like a golf swing should have, right? So I'm going to look at it like that's an aberration instead of because she's on social media. So, oh my God, you got to cut him. No, you don't cut him. He's been a very successful kicker for them. And people are going, wow, that's Sirianni. You got to blame Sirianni for that because they put cobwebs on the kid. You know, and that's what I was reading on social media last night. So we'll talk about what you saw last night. I saw a team that was way better than the other team. And in a matchup on a Thursday night, coming off a Sunday game, the better team prevailed last night. The Commanders are not ready for prime time. I have now dismissed them from the picture. The Eagles have this division locked up, and now it's just a matter of how high they can rise in the seeding. So as we go into the break, Ray Dunn not here today. Tom Alford is filling in. The great Tom Alford.
The married Tom Alford.
That's right.
What's
Recently
going on,
married
boys?
Tom Alford with us today. Tom, good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And we'll kick this around all day. 610-632-0975 is how you get into the Mike Missanelli Show. I want to hear from you. What do you think of your squad now? Back after this.
Now is the time.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic Eagles are 8-2. The Lions are 9-1. So if you look at this upcoming schedule, you can figure it out for yourself. You can do the W and L game to see whether the Eagles. Well, let's do it right now. Let's say the Eagles get dubs, Panthers, Cowboys, Giants. Can you add that up? What's that? 8 plus 3?
11 wins.
That's 11. Yeah, thank you for your good math. And then you got your Rams.
Not going to be an easy one going out west for that game, but you would have to think the Eagles will be favorites, I would assume.
Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Washington.
So Ravens is on the road, back-to-back, coming off of an L.A. trip.
Rams, Ravens, Steelers, Washington. What's the record?
Rams, Ravens, Steelers, Washington. If they could go 2-2, I'm actually okay.
All right, 2-2 gets them to 13-4. Would that be enough for the number one seed? All right, the Lions are 8-1. Excuse me, not 9-1. They got Packers, Bills, Niners, Vikings. What do they do through that?
They're going to have Jacksonville this weekend.
Oh, a second. Just like, humor me. Don't change the narrative here.
Well,
I'm giving you the tough games first. Packers, Bills, 49ers, Vikings. What do they do there?
Packers, Bills, 49ers, Vikings. Packers, Bills. 3-1.
3-1. That gets them to 11. And now the Bops, Jaguars, Colts, Bears twice.
Yeah.
That's 15.
Maybe you got to hope they go 2-2 through that 4-game stretch that I said they did.
They go 2-2, then we're in a flat tie, and then we have to figure out the tiebreakers for the number one seed. But that's still a fantastic position to be in.
Man, it's frustrating that Houston let them off the hook last week because the Lions should have lost that game.
Don't cry now over past events. Look to the future, Bill.
But
Look
lot
to
can
the
happen.
future on what they have to do and what they can control.
A lot can happen over the next few weeks. So wait, they have.
You sound a little nervous.
No,
Tom, you hear the fear in his voice?
I can see him shaking from here, man. That's what I can say.
Well, all of a sudden he's tentative. Mr. Sirianni has gotten tentative here.
Well, we're talking about the 1 seed. Can they catch Detroit? They certainly can.
I mean, yesterday you were on a high horse about the number 1 seed. Poo-poo in Detroit. All of a sudden you got lily-livered?
Well, because you skipped over. You did it a little out of order. Like, let's look at the Lions in order. Let's look at them in order.
I'm looking at tough games versus weak games. I did the same thing with the Eagles.
But the next 3 for the Lions should be cakewalks. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Chicago. 2 of those are at home. So you would
that's
figure
3 straight wins.
they're 11-1.
Okay.
And then they got Green Bay, Buffalo. How the schedule makers, man. They gave them 3 straight home games, but they got Green Bay and Buffalo at home in Detroit. Oh, this is ridiculous.
You're all of us. Tom, look, the bottom has fallen out of Bill.
Well, here's why it's ridiculous.
I thought you were excited about this team.
Now, here's what's bothering me, all right? The Eagles just had to play the Washington Commanders on a short week. You played Sunday in Dallas. You got back at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Short week turnaround to Washington. Look at the break Detroit gets. They play the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving at home. That should be a win. Then they play the Green Bay Packers on a Thursday night, but they get a full week's rest because they go from Thanksgiving to there.
Why are you?
And it's a home game.
Why are you bitching about things you can't control?
Ridiculous. Making it a cakewalk for the Detroit Lions. It doesn't matter. Eagles can beat the Lions head-to-head. It's just whether or not who the 1 seed is.
Their schedule's much tougher down the stretch. How is that a cakewalk?
Stop.
49ers, Bills,
Stop.
Packers. That's not a cakewalk.
Well, you got the Packers.
He has such hate
I
for
do.
the Lions and Dan Campbell.
I don't know.
It just seeps out of his pores.
Not a huge fan. But look, if Jared Goff plays like he did against the Texans, we may not have this conversation in a couple weeks because they're not going to be winning all these games. So we'll see. Look, control what you can control, as Nick Sirianni would say. We can't control what the Lions do. Just keep winning games.
All right.
but the 1 seed is in play.
Let's go to Dallas to start the show. Brian in Dallas. Brian, you're an Eagles fan in Dallas, but you still have concerns about the head coach of this team?
Yeah, no, hear me out, man.
All right.
I love the fact of what we're doing, right? I'm going to say you'd be a fool to believe that the Eagles are not a top 4 team, top 5 team in the NFL, right? So we're worried about maybe 3 teams, okay? And what I'm saying is, when you talk about coaching, what Fangio has done on our defense is incredible. Right? It is incredible. He has taken scheme and chemistry and elevated the talent. Where with Nick, our talent keeps bailing him out. Like you were talking about calling that idiotic trick play. He's done that 4 weeks in a row.
Whoa. Wait, come on, Brian.
Yeah.
Wait, you're going to come after the coach today?
No,
You're going to come after the coach today? Wait, but how do you know?
Bill.
But how do you know it was Sirianni that called the trick play? Why isn't it? Why is it Sirianni? I just want to ask, why was it Sirianni?
Let me answer the question. You got 4 hours to talk, only got 30 seconds. Let me answer the question. Whether he called it or not, if he didn't call it, he allowed it. A competent coach would say, if he didn't call it, let's not call this.
That's a good point. Very good point.
So, yes, a competent coach would have stopped that. Okay? So now, give me the rest of my time back, all right?
You got all the time you need, Brian.
All right, good. When you talk about running the football, you are right. We kept running the football, right? But a competent coach would see that the linebackers are stepping up, so you don't keep running between the tackle. Running straight forward. You want linebackers when they step up to move lateral, which is why Saquon scored on the 39-yard touchdown, because we pitched it to the outside, had linebackers go lateral, and he came back. Our idiotic coach just calls plays. He doesn't have a chemistry.
Man, I just can't believe you're coming after Sirianni today.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
It's not. Because he's an idiot, man. When we play,
they're 8-2, man. They're 8-2.
Okay,
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Brian. I gotta let you go because you can't be like that's an inappropriate take today. You may still think he's an idiot, but they're 8-2, and they beat the team that was supposed to challenge him on a big national TV game. So this is not. But Sirianni, it's foolish to now go down that Sirianni road.
I will give Brian credit, though. He makes a good point. The head coach allowed that trick play to be called, I'm sure. But here's where I have a problem with the Sirianni haters, and this is why at times I think I got to go over the top in my praise. If that trick play worked, okay? If that trick play worked and there was a touchdown, would anyone have said, wow, what a trick play call by Nick Sirianni? No, it would have been, Kellen Moore is an offensive genius. Did you see that trick play Kellen Moore put together? That's my problem.
How do you know what the perception would have been?
Oh, come on, man, because I've been doing this long enough to hear people.
You've been doing it long enough. You just love the head coach so much that you're programmed to think that way.
We blame Sirianni when things go wrong. You don't give him credit when things go well. And to sit here today, 8-2, one of only 5 coaches in the last 30 years, by the way, to have 3 straight seasons, 8-2 or better.
Listen, that guy dug the hole, and you want people to think it's filled.
What hole?
He dug the hole. What, the first hole I dug? He dug the hole for the perception. And you fail to acknowledge that. There are people that are always going to think that way because he dug the freaking hole for people to think that way.
The hole of being the most winning coach in franchise history?
The hole of losing 6 of 7 and coming out this year like he was still a bonehead.
Today's not the day to take shots at Nick.
610-632-0975. Back after this. Mike Missanelli Show. 610-632-0975. All right, so I got one little beef on the broadcast last night.
Just one?
Well, a few. But Herb Street, this is an ethnic beef. Herb Street calls the defensive coordinator Fangino. What, all Italian names sounded like, Kirk? Huh? Is that what it is? All Italian names sound like Fangino? We got to add a little extra Gino to it?
I missed that. I didn't hear him call him that.
Fangino!
Did he do it a lot or just once?
He did it once.
Made him more Italian.
He did.
Got to be a Gino in every Italian name.
Fangino.
All right. Let's get to the phones here. Let's go to Anthony in New York. Anthony, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Anthony.
What's good, Mike?
What's going on, Anthony? How you doing?
Doing well. Diehard Birds fan up here in New York, just trying to represent. And I'm not in the business of being a Negadelphian on this beautiful Friday morning. I'll tell you that.
Beautiful.
I'm just calling the comment.
No Sirianni hate today. Can't be.
Not at all. And I'm just calling to comment on the expectations for this team. And I want to say this. It's despicable if you don't believe that the floor for this team is the NFC Championship game. And if you don't, last night should be your last game of the season. You truly do not deserve to continue watching this team anymore. That's it for you. You're cut off. Why should that not be the expectation? We have the play calling to take us there, the defensive rookie of the year to take us there, the offensive player of the year to take us there, and the best atmosphere in football to take us there. Because I'm telling you right now, Mike, that's the Lions' expectation, that's the Vikings' expectation, and honestly, that's probably still the Niners' expectation. And what do they have that we don't? Give me any dome team bum at the link in January, and I guarantee you they leave our stadium questioning whether or not they should sell their franchise. They said it last night. The Eagles have plenty of experience winning one-possession games. This team knows how to win. They do it week in and week out, and they will continue proving that until we hoist that Lombardi Trophy in New Orleans.
Well, I love your passion. I love the way you laid that out. But that dome team may be playing home. We just looked at the schedule, and it is possible that Detroit is where that NFC title game will be.
And that's fair. I do think they're going to have a bit of a gauntlet, though, coming up, as you all were mentioning earlier in the show. They have the Bills. They still have to run through the rest of the North, which I think is going to be way more difficult as these games. I mean, the thing is, we're going to take care of business. We know that. We're going to take care of our business. And I think their schedule is much tougher than ours down the stretch. We really just need them to slip up once or twice, and I don't think Goff has the juice late in the season.
Yeah, well, you could be right. I hope you're right, and maybe even the Eagles can beat them there. Like by that time, maybe they're so well oiled that they actually go in there maybe as a little bit of a favorite. Who knows? All right, you guys, some good stuff by you, Anthony.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. I mean, my only thing is they got some bops here. Yeah, they do have a tough close, but they got some bops. They've got Jags, Colts, Bears twice. That's 4.
Yeah, so that gets them to 12 right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles, they have some bops too. I mean, really, when you look, I guess both teams, it's going to get close. It's going to get close. But if the Eagles keep playing like they're playing, man, he said.
It's the defense. Defense is the reliable part of a team. You saw last night, they struggled offensively. Their defense was on point the whole night.
And he said, the caller, they got the defensive rookie of the year. And this is something Tom Albert and I were talking about a little before the show, is can Quinyon Mitchell win defensive rookie of the year when opponents aren't throwing at him? Like, he can't get the interceptions. He can't get those gaudy numbers that people see that think, oh, look at all those picks, because he's just shutting people down. I mean, you look at Quinyon Mitchell and the receivers he's gone up against, literally some of the best wide receivers in the NFL, C.D. Lamb, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, the list goes on and on. He's averaging 2 catches for 29 yards a game in his rookie season. This guy's unreal. How did he fall to 22nd in the draft at a position that is so important in the NFL, cornerback? How the hell does he fall to 22?
They also had the Caucasian Crushers.
Did you see their exciting white shirts they were wearing?
Yeah, the Caucasian Crushers.
Cooper DeJean. And you know who the Eagles traded with to get Cooper DeJean?
Who's that?
The Washington Commanders.
Really?
They traded up in the second round with Washington. So thank you, New York, for giving us Saquon. Thank you, Washington, for giving us Cooper DeJean. Thank you, Dallas, for letting the Eagles trade up to jump the Giants to get Devontae Smith. The NFC East is just giving us gifts, man.
DeJean did have a big penalty last night. I don't understand how the official, who was the Terry McCauley was the analyst, the official
McCauley,
analyst.
I think,
Terry McCauley. And he goes, well, he didn't, and I didn't see much. Well, he clearly grabbed his jersey. He goes, well, he didn't impede on that much. If an official sees a guy pull a jersey, he's not going to value judge whether he impeded him, right?
I hated the call. I did. I don't know if I'm being a homer.
He stretched his jersey.
He did, but it didn't disrupt the play at all.
See, that's what their rationale was. It didn't disrupt the play. An official that looks at that is not going to make an in-time subjective judgment that it didn't disrupt the play. He sees from that angle, he sees the yank in the jersey.
Well, and now you reminded me of another penalty. The face mask on Devontae Smith that they pick up the flag.
Underneath the helmet. So I was confused because they didn't really explain that. So when you go underneath the helmet,
it's still a face mask.
Be considered a face mask.
Yeah, if you grab any part of the face mask or inside the back of the helmet, that's considered a face mask.
You know, they blew that down.
Well, what they need to do, face masks should be reviewable because there's no subjectivity to the call. It's an objective call. You grab a part of the helmet like that, it's a face mask. So why not just make it reviewable? They have this replay assist. Replay assist should apply to face masks. There's no reason why it should. And that was a bad call, and I think they missed one on Jalen Hurts early in the game too. But hey, I'm not here to complain.
Gene didn't even complain about it. He's a non-complainer. He's just a baller, you know?
Dude, these two rookies, the Eagles and Howie Roseman, changed the next 5 to 10 years of the franchise with those two draft picks. And I know it's only been 10 games.
Look at you, man.
It's unbelievable.
Look at you, the anti-Howie early this season, and now
I have been all over Howie for finding young defensive talent, but over the last couple of seasons, Gotta give him credit, man.
Let's go to the text board, Tom. We got some texts early on with this game. We welcome your text at 610-632-0975.
Yes, we got some texts. We're going to start with Michael in New Jersey, going back to Bill complaining about the Bills' schedule. I think Bill is acting like a typical Philadelphia fan. We have to find a way that our Eagles are getting screwed by the NFL somehow.
Yeah, I'm usually not like that.
You are.
But I guess it did come off.
And you're also complaining about the refs, too, in a way.
Yeah, I guess that did come off that way. You're right. You're right.
Comes out of you.
But I was just saying, when you got those short weeks, the Lions got a little bit of a benefit because they always play on Thanksgiving. I get it. But then to give them their next Thursday game against the Green Bay Packers.
No, I clearly think the league,
get a full week off.
Said this year, listen, we got to slant everything so the Lions get to the NFC title game.
No, I don't
feel
that
that was
way.
in the process there in the boardroom.
I'm glad the texter is holding me accountable. We got to find a way
to screw Philadelphia. Let's say that tomorrow's lecture will be how we can screw the Eagles, so let's work on that. I want everybody to come in with 7 ideas.
I don't think that way. I do not think that way. So I appreciate the texter holding me accountable.
Sounds
because
like it.
If I did come off that way, no. The NFL is not plotting against the Eagles.
All right, give me another one there, Tommy.
All right, here we go. We got Phil in Jersey talking about Dan Quinn's decision, the 4th and 2. I find that decision so weird because if the Birds are up 13-10 in that situation, they automatically kick the field goal. But because it's 12-10, instead analytically you go for it. Worked out for the Birds, but these analytic people are getting nuts.
The analytics, there's got to be such a thing as blanket analytics and game situation analytics. There's got to be a difference, right? The analytics probably said that the percentage was higher to convert a 4th and 2. However, the notion of taking a lead there is important because even if the Eagles score a touchdown, you're still in it. And if you don't make that there, you're not still in it if they score a touchdown. It's a 2-score game. So that's what analytics doesn't figure out.
And analytics is also not factoring in that the Eagles had a kicker who couldn't make a kick last night. That's why, in my opinion, you take the lead there more than anything else. Because by a 1-point lead is a massive lead when you got a kicker on the other side who can't make a kick.
It certainly is. And see, a guy like Dan Quinn who's been around football so long, I'm sure that, these analytic guys up there shoot down that information. Yeah, 4th and 2, we got to go. And, for him to have to defer to that, as a football man, to defer to that, instead of saying, wait a minute. We got to take the lead here, because if we take the lead and they still score a touchdown, we're still in it. Like that's the mind-boggling part of it. The analytics people now have control of the situation over the better football decision. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and that's why the Philadelphia Eagles have a better coach than the Washington Commanders.
Well, but they do the same thing sometimes.
Hey,
they do the same exact thing. In fact, they do it more than probably anybody in the league.
It's really all around the NFL. And I know people are going to say, here's Bill defending Nick, but if you watch the NFL, there's these type of decisions constantly. You saw it last Sunday, people making bad decisions. Even Mike Tomlin with the fake punt from his own end zone. Like, there are coaches making dumb decisions week after week after week. It's not, we hyper-focus on what the Eagles do because those are the games we watch. But it is around the NFL. And if it's truly analytics, they need to rethink it. Because you're right. Kicking the field goal is the answer.
My God. Your boy uses analytics more than anybody. They got 74 nerds up there telling them what to do.
Why do they got to be nerds? Because they know math. Why?
610-632-0975. By the way, the 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Let's go to Bucks County. Keith is checking in. Keith, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
How you doing, guys?
What's up, Keith?
All right, listen. Typical Philadelphia fans complaining all the time. They won the game.
Who's complaining?
Oh, God, everybody, Sirianni this, Sirianni that. Sirianni.
Well, it was the first call, and we put him in his place. Come on, Keith.
But listen to me. They are right now, and I think a lot of people have overlooked this, but they have, and you guys made a point of bringing up the 3 receivers. This defense is as good as this is the best defense in football. They just shut down people whenever they want to. Their corners are just incredible. And you guys said, how can he win the defensive rookie of the year if he doesn't have gaudy figures? People look at things like throw at him. They look at the fact what he does against premier receivers, and I think he ought to be in consideration for that honor. He is that good, and you look at what's happened to this team over the last couple of years. Jalen Carter falls to. I don't know how the Eagles managed to get Jalen Carter.
Well, you know how they managed. He had some taint to him.
Yeah, but I remember that. Who was it? The kid from Dallas, Micah Parsons, says they should fire every general manager that allowed Jalen Carter to fall to the Eagles. He's probably right. But their defense is unbelievable. Like you said, last night they struggled offensively. But I have to tell you, I never had any doubt they were going to win that football game. Washington could do nothing. They just couldn't.
You're right. Washington wasn't ready for that. They just weren't.
And
they're not there yet.
No, but they're going to be a really, really good team, and they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in another year or two when they add the pieces. But clearly last night, this was the first big boy team they've played, and they could do nothing.
Yeah, no, you're right, Keith. Keith a little perturbed that the Eagles aren't getting enough credit.
Well, he didn't like that the first call we got was taking a shot at the coach. But his point about the defense, it's remarkable that last year you were talking about one of the worst pass defenses in the entire NFL. And now, one season later, they're top 3? It's crazy the transformation that this defense has undergone. And the guys like Zach Bond, and we talked about the rookies, but you knew a rookie quarterback last night going up against a veteran defensive coordinator that Fangio was going to figure out a way to throw some things at him. And he did it. Jaden Daniels, I still a very good quarterback, but he didn't look like he was as good last night going up against a veteran DC.
No, they were I thought the Commanders were outclassed. I just thought that one team is that much better than the other team. That team's not in that echelon yet.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. And now you look around the NFC, and that's why we're talking about the Lions. Who is? Who is in that echelon? I think that you still have to worry.
It's the Eagles and the Lions.
Well, I think you should still consider the 49ers. As they get healthy, we know that they are a good football team. They got Christian McCaffrey back.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
And the way the season has gone, you may have to face the 49ers early in the playoffs because they're not going to maybe they still win their division. What would they have?
Bond did make one mistake last night.
What was that?
He got sucked in on that flat pass that went for big yardage.
To Austin Eckler? Was that a little dump off to Eckler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can live with it, though. I mean, they forced Jaden Daniels to take those check downs. I mean, when you shut down Terry McLaurin, I'll take them just checking the ball down left and right to their running backs. Speaking of check downs, man, how about the one from Jalen to Saquon? That big play where Jalen... Yes.
Yeah.
That was something Jalen hasn't done in previous seasons. He very rarely would take that little outlet pass, and when you can put the ball in Saquon's hands, why not?
Speaking of Jalen, I need a Jalen pearl of wisdom here. So, Tom, can we play his latest pearl of wisdom? The Jalen philosophy, as it's known.
We talk about effort, we talk about flying to the ball, and honestly, the number one thing that's been Kellen has brought is flipping and finding, and finding if you don't have the ball in your hands. So obviously Dallas makes that catch, and he tries to go get some yak, and it's the guy you don't see. And I know he's wishing he would have had better ball security there, but while you flip and find, while you pursue to the ball, offensively and defensively, because you never know what can happen. You want to be there. So.
He's talking a little about the play that Calcaterra chased down the Goddard when it was punched down on a beautiful punch out. But flipping and find it. And that's wisdom. Now when I think about it, I used to flip and find in college. We were always flipping and finding, weren't we?
What were you flipping and finding?
College.
Sounds illegal.
Flipping and
finding. It was Friday and Saturday night. We were flipping and
that was a huge play, though, last night. Goddard's got to put that ball away, man. He had that fumble.
That was like the perfect punch. I don't know how those guys do that in real time. You got to really be that's a precision punch.
But he had
in real time when guys are running, and
he had it out like a loaf of bread.
I know he did, but still, you got to have the timing and the accuracy to do that. That's a skill. All right, 610-632-0975. The texts are coming in, and your calls. I want to hear from you. What do you think now? You got a defense that's potent. Mike Missanelli Show continues. of the Mike Missanelli Show. Following an Eagles win is brought to us by Grungo Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Bill's here. Tom Alford is producing today in place of Ray. Ray missing a big day. Very big day, Ray missing.
Yeah, he's got bigger things, I guess.
We're an afterthought to the star that is Ray Dunn these days. No. So it was some of the most interesting conversations on this show take place during the breaks. So Bill was just musing. Can you imagine if the Eagles win the Super Bowl and now how Sirianni would then be perceived after people wanting him fired after last year and he makes this colossal comeback and he would be the Eagles coach who has won a Super Bowl and been to another Super Bowl, and what would people think then? Right, Bill? It's a dream
quite
sequence.
a story.
It's a dream sequence for you, Bill.
It would be quite a story. People on the YouTube chat are already saying they're worried about me with my adoration for Nick Sirianni.
And see, it's such an admiration, Tom, that he took it to the next level. Not the next level, the supersonic level. Can you imagine if Sirianni won the Super Bowl, what people would be thinking of him then after most of them are wanting him fired?
Well, listen, all right? They're 8-2. And I said this a little earlier to you. In the last 30 years, there are only 5 coaches to start 3 straight seasons 8-2 or better. Listen to the other 4, because Nick Sirianni's one of them. Listen to the other 4. Sean Payton, he had Drew Brees as his quarterback. Bill Belichick, he had Tom Brady. Tony Dungy, he had Peyton Manning. Mike Shanahan with John Elway. But yet we will still have people declaring that Nick Sirianni's a clown. And I just don't get it. He wins, man. That's all I want in my head coach. Yeah, I don't love him at press conferences. I don't love the high school Harry stuff that he pulls every once in a while. But what I do love is winning, and that's why I defend the guy. I'm not related to him, although people accuse me of it. I like winning. I want a coach that wins.
I haven't gone on the Ancestry DNA yet, so that's my next mission.
He's hoping that doesn't happen.
Find out if you are related to him. But here's the other conversation that we had. It's like, here's the difference between me and Bill. I'm wolfing down hush puppies that were sent over by Sonic.
No, right? Sonic's good, but those
this morning. You, however, conned somebody into baking you a Kodiak muffin.
I didn't con him.
We were talking about yesterday. Somebody brought you because you're such a health freak. You God forbid you have a hush puppy. A Kodiak is the healthy. What is it? What is it?
It's
a healthy grain.
Well, no, it's protein.
Oh, it's protein.
So like they make protein pancakes. We were talking about it yesterday.
Protein.
And Casey Boy from Preston and Steve,
he baked you a muffin.
He heard us talking about it, and he said, "Hey, I used the Kodiak muffin mix, and he made me one. It's delicious.
He made you a muffin
with bananas and walnuts. He just sent me the recipe.
It's really interesting because you, like a lot of people, are reluctant. You get a little hinky, a little schivats, as we call it in Italian, for other people's food.
Yes. Well, because you don't know what other people do with their kitchen.
Right. So
you don't know. You don't know how clean it is.
I gotta be honest with you. I have a mistrust on foreign meatballs. But last night, first of all, yeoman's work for Bill and the crew last night with the pregame show.
Oh, it was cold out there, man.
Yeah. And so you were icy cold. You get home and, like a good domestic man, you expect that the wife
I don't expect it.
Like you're Harrison Butker
in your Butker jersey.
And you
Definitely not.
You come home and the wife has a hot meal prepared for you, right?
I don't expect it, but she was nice enough to have it.
So your wife conned you last night.
She did. So I get home and there's this nice hot bowl of almost like a chili. It was like ground beef and peppers or whatever. And I'm eating it and I'm telling her how good it is. And she's watching me eat it. And then she tells me, yeah, one of my clients brought it over. I go, why didn't you tell me that before? She goes, because you probably wouldn't have eaten it because I know you're worried about other people's kitchens. So she pulled the bait and switch on me. It was good, though. It was good. So thank you, Megan, her client, who dropped it off.
You didn't finish the story. You didn't finish
What? I didn't want to eat it.
Once you found out it was foreign chili.
But then once she told me who it was, see, I got to know the person and know. Like, I don't want just some random. Like, you know what I can't stand? We used to do these at the law firm a lot. I couldn't stand it. The potlucks. When people all bring
Delicious food.
their foods and you don't know anything about, like, what's their kitchen like? If they have cats, do they let the cats walk on the counters and in the pans? And
See, this is an Italian thing.
I don't do it.
Who lets their
Italians-
cat walk in a pan?
People do.
Italians do not trust other people's food.
No, they don't.
It's an Italian thing. I
It
know
must
it is.
be.
It definitely is. But I love the fact that you come home. I can't wait. Well, my wife's probably got a meal prepared for me. It's like, it reminds me of the scene in The Breakfast Club where Judd Nelson's character is going, "Hey, woman, make me turkey pot pie."
That's not me.
Right?
Now, my wife does enjoy cooking. She's a very good cook. Yeah, she's 8 months pregnant, man.
Oh, good for her.
Still
man.
making food, working out.
She was entitled to try to con you last night with somebody else's foreign chili.
You know what I did do last night, though? A sea salt chocolate chip cookie, man. The salt and the sweet. I love a little sea salt on a chocolate chip cookie. You ever do that?
Yeah, where'd you get the cookie?
Trader Joe's.
All right.
Trader Joe's. does a
Yeah,
good
no,
job.
you're a big Trader Joe guy too.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, you're into that cult.
But a big
Trader
thank you to Casey Boy. This is a good muffin.
There you go. Even though you'll never know where his hands were.
although, do you know what Casey Boy said is when he brought it over? He starts saying, "What the hell was Nick Sirianni doing last night at the end of the first half, taking a timeout with 19 seconds left and started bashing Sirianni?" I go, "Come on, man.
Not doing a good enough job.
Not today."
Let's go back to the phones. David in Ben Salem. What's up, David?
Hey, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Tom. How you guys doing?
How
there?
are you, David?
I'm doing well. Great win for the Eagles last night, and I totally agree with you, Mike. The defense won this game for them last night, without a doubt.
I mean, and the defense, if your defense is the most solid part, and it's hard to say that because their offense has some really great skill players, but defense will carry you a long way.
Without a doubt, Mike. And I said this at the beginning of the season. These Georgia players need to step up, and they are. I mean, you got Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, N'Kobe Dean, Quinton Mitchell. They're stepping up. This is what they needed to do. This is why Howie drafted them.
Yeah. Quinyon is not a Georgia guy, but I get your point.
Right. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. But
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah.
Mike, I'm looking ahead, and we all look ahead. We all look ahead every day with the Eagles schedule. The next two road games, in my opinion, they got to get one of these next two road games because in December they're going to have 3 or 4 home games at home. This is big. The next two road games, I think, are going to be big, critical this season.
I don't know why I feel this Rams game is a trap for him. I don't know. Am I is that wrong to think that this is a trap?
It could be. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a trap game as much as it's just tough to go on the road to L.A. and win there against a team that still has a pretty good quarterback in Matt Stafford.
There's a lot of time before that game, too, which I don't like.
So I like
Right.
that.
Yeah, and I think, Mike, if I'm correct, they beat them there last year. If I'm correct, I think they beat the Rams out there last year.
They
if I'm
did.
right about that.
Yes, they did.
And here's why a lot of time. Because when you have a lot of time, you start smelling yourself. You know, people thinking how great you are. You just beat this Washington team. You're going to hear that now for the next several days, how great they are. And I don't like that.
See, I needed it for the rest, though. Like, we were just talking about how good Jalen Carter is. This guy's been playing a ton of snaps. A ton of snaps. And you come in on a short week like you did last night, and he plays every single snap on defense. These guys needed the rest. Saquon needed the rest. So I think it's good that they're getting the rest. But you know why they're not going to smell themselves, right? You know why?
The Sirianni won't let them
You're damn right. You're damn right, Tom.
But see, the dynamic is the trip to L.A., you know, and all this time, people, how great, they're great, they're a Super Bowl contender. My God, they might be the best team in the NFC. They could get a number 1 seed. They're going to be hearing that there's a lot of days to hear that now. And then they go, oh, L.A., they're going to L.A. I don't like the dynamic of the game.
Now, I'm kidding a little bit about how Sirianni won't let it happen, but there's some truth in that, and it's not only him. You look at guys like Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, even Zach Baun and Kobe Dean, who have been stepping up as leaders, and then you go to the offensive line, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Jalen Hurts, I think that they have a very good leadership core. And we were worried, what was the leadership going to look like with Kelsey retiring and Fletcher Cox retiring? I think this team's got a nice leadership group, and I don't think they're going to be a type of team that starts to sniff themselves. And Saquon Barkley, what he went through in New York, and now that he's finally on a team that's a true contender, I think he's going to be a big voice in that room. I don't think they're going to lose focus. I'm not worried about the traps or them getting too full of themselves, but I do worry just about a tough road game against an LA Rams team. But they should be favored. I would think the Eagles will be favored in that game.
All right, let's take a break. Speaking of smelling, Mike, I use a new deodorant.
You go,
and I don't know if it's a violation.
You go no aluminum in your
No.
deodorant?
I usually go with the basic. I go Sure. Has always been my
Sure. Unsure.
You can't beat it. It's like $2.99. It works, but they didn't have it at the store, so I went with Secret. Now that's more of a woman's thing, isn't it? Secret.
I think Secret is.
Yes.
See, I use Everyman Jack from Whole Foods. It's got no aluminum in it.
Everyman Jack. Well, so it's like so I went Secret because I remember seeing the commercials that a man could use it too.
I was wondering what that smell was in here.
It's a little lavender. I kind of like it. Like the Missanelli Show back into this.
Now is the time to become a fanatic MV.
today. I want to quote C.J. Garner-Johnson coming into the locker room after the Eagles' 6th straight win. Washington, respect y'all, but y'all know this ass runs through us.
It's not wrong.
This ass runs through us.
Talking about it running through us, talking about the NFC East. Did you hear the stat? I know we've talked about this before, but it's now going to be 20 years that there hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East. Herb Street said last night that's the longest of like any sport, not just the NFL, any sport. That's wild, man. How has there not been a repeat NFC East champ?
Well,
and you know Dallas ain't winning it this year, so.
very diverse conference. So last night, how did you like the production, the Amazon production of the game?
So, well, we could even start with the pregame because our pregame show that was on the PBR patio at Xfinity was right next to Amazon Prime's pregame show with Sherman and Gonzalez and Whitworth and Carissa Thompson.
Love her.
Yes, very. She does a good job, and she's not bad to look at either. She looked good last night. But the funny thing is Amazon Prime. They
beautiful, intelligent, and attractive, and
nice combination.
Does a nice job.
Yeah, nice combo. But they had couches and blankets.
Yeah,
me, Andrew, and Connor were a little cold.
Let me ask you a question about the Whitworth look, which really was a very temporary look that kind of went in and now is out.
You talking about the hoodie with the sports jacket?
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's no longer.
I don't think it ever should have been in. I hate it.
Yeah, they tried it, and it sparkled for a couple weeks. But come on, man.
Yeah, he keeps it going.
Wait, why?
I don't know. It's not a good look.
No, it's not. It's a terrible look.
It was never a good look. But hey, I guess it's
tried that on one of our shows last year.
Oh, one of our post-game shows?
Post-game shows.
I
tried it, and then I looked at it on.
You didn't like it?
Nah.
One and done?
Yeah, it was a one and done for me. Whitworth works it.
Yeah, I mean, I was always sitting next to Seth, who's always decked out to the nines.
Yeah, nobody wears a tie, which is fine. You don't wear a tie. A lot of shows will go tie. That show doesn't go tie. But I'm not sure that come on, man. Somebody's got to say to him.
Yeah.
Big fella. Come on now.
So here's my problem with the Amazon Prime games. Mm-hmm. And I was happy that it was on Fox last night, too, locally. I do the pregame show, and then I leave right at kickoff. I turn my radio off. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and then when I get home, I got to catch up.
Yeah.
It's very easy when I'm on YouTube TV to fast forward. Amazon Prime's is terrible.
Yeah.
To try to get through the commercials, because sometimes I'll watch Thursday Night Football after my kids go to sleep, and I'll try to catch up through the commercials and stuff. I just hate the app or whatever it's called. I'm not a big fan.
They had some transmission problems early.
Yeah, my screen went black for a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was on me. That happened to everybody?
Did too. I had to reset it, and I go, what do I have to do? I have to unplug my router here? Like, what's the deal?
It happened to me on a Jalen Hurts scramble for a first down. Mm-hmm. And I could hear it. I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I thought that was just me.
All right. In any event, nice to sparkle. Yeah, and I saw your criticism of Thursday night games.
They're terrible, man.
Yeah.
They are. They should get rid of them. I love NFL.
The second half, it was a good game.
Yeah, but Mike, look, I love the NFL. You know that. But I don't need a Thursday night football game. To make these guys try to get recovered from a Sunday afternoon game, especially the Eagles, getting home at 3 a.m.
So you're thinking the quality is not going to be good.
It's not.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to be good quality. I don't think you need it. And they're trying to take over every day of the week.
Let's go back to the text board. We got a lot of texts coming in. We even have deodorant texts.
Yes, we do.
In. So let's start with the deodorant text, Tom. What do you got here?
All right, we got one on each side when it comes to deodorant text. No name here, unfortunately. Text from Mikey Miss. Not a violation on deodorant. A lot of male athletes use women's deodorant, including Giannis Antetokounmpo, I believe.
Wow. Well, I've never seen a commercial for Secret. That's why I went. I go, wait, yeah, men can use Secret too. And it wasn't. It was that little. Where you turn the bottom and it comes out in like all these mini holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with that. But normally it's just a white stick of Sure, which I always liked.
So you go white. So I always go clear because the white gets on my shirt.
The secret is clear. But I had been doing the white.
Does it ever get on your shirts?
Right? Yes. Well, you can't put the shirt on. You have to put the shirt on where you widen it so it doesn't touch your underarms.
See?
Too much work.
Yeah.
It's a vet move right there. It's teaching us.
Too much
Teaching
work.
us how you do it.
All right. On the flip side, complete violation. The ad was secret, strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
There
That's
it
the
is.
ad.
Strong enough
Yeah.
for a man, but made for a woman.
Yeah. I remember that. I still like the Sure commercials better, though. Sure. Unsure. Remember? And you would have the arms up, and then the other one would be down.
Yeah.
That was a good commercial.
We got one on Jalen Hurts here. We have an amazing roster minus the mediocre quarterback. Can't read a defense and rarely even attempts to look at his second option, let alone the third. Underthrows, overthrows a lot. If it wasn't for his rushing ability, he'd be a bottom 10 QB in the league.
Wow.
If we don't make the Super Bowl, it's because of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. See, today is not a. It's just that I thought he was banged up. I thought he actually was hurt in the first half. It didn't look, he didn't look sharp. He got woozy on that one play, and they had to check him out. But I also thought it looked like his ankle or something.
Well, and then they got checked out for the concussion, as you said. But the thing with Jalen, and we've seen this now all season, he may have a bad quarter. He may even have a bad half.
Resilient.
Yeah, he doesn't usually put together 4 bad quarters.
He comes back at it.
He finished that game really strong.
Yeah, he did.
So
it was like 7 for 8 in the second half, wasn't he?
7 for 8 in the second half.
Yeah.
I think he may have finished like 10 of 14 down the stretch, something like that.
No, he was 8 for 9 for 120 yards in the second half after being 10 for 19 for 101 in the first half. But he does. He comes right back at it.
And he made a couple big plays with his legs. That third down run where he stretches out to pick up the first, where replay assist changed it. I mean, those are the type of things that you get with Jalen that you don't get with a lot of quarterbacks.
Breaks your defense's heart.
By the way, no turnovers in 5 of the last 6 games for Hurts.
How about that?
That was huge. Yeah, Eagles won the turnover battle again. How about Reed Blankenship with a big interception last night? Yeah, man, Jalen's good enough to win.
Killer.
Super Bowl.
Reed Blankenship.
But Jalen is good enough. He is.
Let's go, Jason and Ardmore. What's up, Jason? Jason? Oh,
there he is.
Jason. Yo.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man?
Hey, I wanted to talk about the game yesterday.
Go right ahead, Jason.
The defense played spot on, all right? And, the offensive line, they did what they had to do, And everybody's saying that
Oh, what happened?
We lost him.
We lose him?
Yeah.
Sorry
That's
about
all right.
that. All right, let's take a break. Jason, if you want to call back, I don't know how the line just went zzz. So give us a call back. 610-632-0975. Don't forget, we got a Fearless Selections coming up a little later. What time is that? 12:30 we do that?
Yeah, I'm coming off a good week, too, man. I went 3-0 last week, 23-7 this season.
That's unbelievable.
This is a tough week, though.
And the fact that you're not playing all your games.
I am. I'm just not playing big money. I'm up a little, but not as much.
7, you should be up by hundreds.
I know. I should be dominating.
The Mike Missanelli Show continues. Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. All right, this is just to make Bill happy. But also, we've become a regular thing where we play the post-game speeches of certain coaches, and specifically the very excitable Nick Sirianni with his squad after a win. Tom, we have that, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, so this is Nick Sirianni's post-game locker room speech to his peeps.
Hey, proud of you guys, how you fought. Right, it wasn't pretty, but we just kept fighting. And that's the type of game we like, in that dirt road that Joe P talks about. It's nasty, it's grimy, it's gritty. It's right where we want to be. Guys, enjoy this. You can enjoy this one a little longer. You can enjoy this one a little longer. But as soon as Monday hits, it's right back to work. Go ahead, AJ, you got it. Got us a cake for our boy, man. Come on,
Devontae's birthday.
Yeah, Devontae turned 26 yesterday.
Okay, so there you go. The dirt road to Joe. Is that the Joe Dirt reference?
I don't know. He says the
Joe Dirt to Joe.
He said Joe P.
Well, what is in Joe Dirt? What's his last name? It's not Dirt.
It's not?
Talking about Joe Pesci?
No. He's got a name. It's called Joe Dirt, but I don't think that's his last name.
I don't know who that is. If anybody on the text board knows, send us a text because I've been
I don't know
Googling
what that
it.
was happening. What was going on with that?
The dirt road that Joe P talks
Joe
about.
P talks about.
Maybe there's a coach or someone named Joe P. Let me see. I'll look it up. But there it is. You know who that was, right? That was the most winning coach in franchise history right there. Best winning percentage of any coach.
Yeah,
Eagles have ever
it
had.
was Nick Sirianni. I can't say anything negative today. And I won't say anything negative. They're a good team, and they are a 1-2 or a 1A, depending on how you look at it. And they have a chance to host the NFC title game. So, can I tell you?
There is a special teams assistant, Joe Panunzio, so potentially that's Joe P.
All right, well, whoever it is talked about a dirt road.
A lot of Italians.
A lot of Italians on the staff.
Yep. All right, go back to the text board before we go back to phones.
So we got one here. We had, obviously, a negative Hurts text come in just recently. We have a positive Hurts text. This is from Bill in Royersford. I'm glad we have a quarterback that sucks so much that he only has a record of 45-26 in his career with the Eagles. Some fans are ridiculous and need to look at the fact that this guy just simply wins.
It's a good point. Now, there's some that will argue the other side of it that say wins shouldn't be a quarterback stat. You know, there are people who say, you look at Joe Burrow, as good of a season as he's having, the team's not winning games. So it's not always reflective of the quarterback, but I'm there with the texter. I think Jalen Hurts is a lot better than some people will give him credit for. And we've talked about this before, Mike. Why are there people reluctant to get behind Jalen Hurts? And I really, truly believe it's the people who didn't think he was going to be an NFL quarterback when they drafted him, and you don't like to be wrong. And any chance they get, look.
I think he gives off a weird vibe. They can't relate to him. Just like they couldn't relate to McNabb in the opposite way. And I think that influences it. And listen, he helps a lot by his first half was terrible. So it's like why it's maddening to a lot of people that he can look clueless at sometimes, or like that throw to A.J. Brown to the left side
when the corner fell down.
Yeah, I mean that's just
a bad throw,
a horrible throw.
But again, and I've said this about Sirianni too, we hyper focus on the Eagles because that's our team. Jaden Daniels has been anointed as the greatest rookie quarterback. He didn't look great last night.
That stopped last night.
Yeah, he didn't look great.
Yeah, it stopped last night. It was a window in his soul. He's not ready. He's green.
But it's also the Thursday night games.
Yeah.
And you do have to take that into account. There's going to be a little bit of rust. But the point I made earlier, Jalen Hurts, bad first quarter. But he always seems to figure it out.
He hangs in there. I'll give him credit. He hangs in there. All right, let's go to Bill on a cell. What's up, Bill?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Last night's game was amazing. That defense, I got some bro love for that defense. But my reason for calling is was that a statement by Quinn to keep pounding it to Ertz last night? I mean, I was chuckling at the end of that game. They just kept doing it until he finally got it. I'm not sure. He punctuate the end of the game with making sure Ertz got a touchdown.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, Bill, if you look at Ertz this season, he actually has been getting a lot of targets in Washington.
Well, who else do they have? McLaurin was getting shelved last night, right? They really they don't have a lot of dynamic weapons, and Ertz has become a reliable target for the quarterback. So no, I whatever. that was like garbage time when they were getting the ball to him.
All right, well, it's kind of nice to see Ertz get it. Even I mean, they had no shot at winning. But anyway, thank you guys.
Okay, all right.
All right, Bill.
So you just want to do an Ertz thing.
Just wanted to talk about Ertz. Now, Ertz gets a lot of targets in Washington. It's amazing he's still playing.
Yeah, that does nothing for me sentimentally to see Ertz out there.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, upset that they didn't do anything to acknowledge Ertz coming back. But I think we're so far removed.
He's already come back, did he?
Yeah.
Coming back with Arizona?
Yeah, so I don't think you had to do anything for Ertz last night.
That ship has sailed.
I mean, he did score one of the biggest touchdowns in franchise history.
Well, of course, but he's no longer an Eagle. He hasn't been an Eagle for a while.
Yeah, I don't think you had to do anything.
I don't go sentimental. All right, Jason's back with us. Sorry about that, Jason. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Okay.
I want to talk about the game last night.
Yes, sir.
I think that the defense played incredible, right? Mm-hmm. And, after the first half, they started out slow, but the coaches, they made adjustments, and that's something they weren't able to do before. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they really committed to the run, which was, normally when you don't have success, and they weren't having success early with it, especially between the tackles, they kept going to it. And there are teams that usually abandon that kind of thing, or previous Eagle teams have abandoned when you haven't had success.
Absolutely. And, people say, oh, we haven't played anywhere. Well, we beat the Commanders last night, so that's a big win. And how about what Jaworski said? Jaworski said that Daniels was the best rookie quarterback he's ever seen. What's he have to say now?
Well, I don't know. What did he say last night? Did you catch the... I don't know.
I didn't hear what he said last night.
Well, he may have been, but I think last night kind of proved that he's a green banana.
Green banana.
He is. A green banana. Not ripe yet.
Yeah, and look, did it say more about Jaden?
He's a good-looking banana.
But he's a green banana.
Yeah, he needs time.
But did it say more about Jaden Daniels or about the Eagles' defense? Is it Jaden Daniels, he's just a rookie and he's not as good as people thought? Or are the Eagles' defense as good as they looked in the games before this? Because they were shutting down the likes of Daniel Jones and Deshaun Watson and even Joe Burrow, and people kept saying, well, they haven't played anybody. Well, now they shut down Jaden Daniels. So is it saying more about the defense than it is Jaden Daniels?
There's no question that the Eagles' defense is really good. I think the kid got over his skis. I think he was over his skis. I think he looked confused last night. He didn't know where to turn. So that comes with experience. That was like the first game where, okay, this is the reality of the NFL. I'm playing against a good defense, and I really don't have anything to go to.
Yeah, I think, and I haven't gone back and watched the game or anything like that, but the feel that I got watching it was that Fangio was doing a really good job of taking away the first reads. So now it was up to Jaden Daniels to try to go through his progressions, and that's not easy for a rookie quarterback.
He didn't look like an assertive runner either last night. Like he was trodden gingerly.
Well, did you see that play? I forget exactly when. It was early. Nakobe Dean made a great tackle when Jaden Daniels tried to escape the pocket. They did a good job of being disciplined in their pass rush lanes and not letting him escape. I mean, I think it says more about the Eagles' defense. I still think Jaden Daniels is a very good quarterback. They just did a really nice job last night. And you got a veteran coordinator.
He's going to be a good player. He's not there yet. He's not there yet.
No, he's not. I mean, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
He's a rookie.
They're probably a playoff team, right?
That's an interesting question. Are they a playoff team? Let me look at.
There's a couple more losses coming for that team. I see. I think they got cracked.
There's a lot more tape on Daniels now, which I think is a big
true.
thing. Eagles see him the first 3 weeks of the season or something. This might be a different outcome. Now you have 2 months of tape on the kid.
Yeah, I think they got cracked a little bit last night. That team, the whole aura of them being a viable contender.
So, and wait, there's 3 wild cards now, right? 7 teams make the playoffs. So you got your 4 division leaders and then 3 wild cards. So Minnesota's 7-2 behind the Lions. Green Bay is 6-3. The Niners are 5-4 behind the Cardinals, who are 6-4. It's not a guarantee the Commanders make the playoffs, man. As good as their season has started, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, and you're right. They may lose a couple more down the road and fizzle completely out of it. So last night, a lot of people thought was a very awkward interview. If you continue to watch the post-game stuff and you flipped on ESPN and the Scott Van Pelt, SVP, whatever that's called. What is that called?
Sports Center with
Sports
SVP.
Center with SVP. So he had a live interview with Jalen. And Jalen had sunglasses on.
Jalen had sunglasses on and was trying to troll a little bit.
Do we have that?
Do we have that yet, Tom?
In 10 seconds, we do.
We're gonna have it. We're gonna have that in 10 seconds. It was. Now here's the thing. There's no way when you hear this, there's no way that Jalen's done enough study to know who Scott Van Pelt is, or what his background is. Right? These guys don't do that. They're just somebody fed him some information prior, like a crafty PR guy. I think fed Jalen some information that he could use in a quip sort of fashion. You think I'm right about this? We both
probably.
Heard.
Yeah, I don't know. Does Hertz know that much about
there's
Steve
no
Van
way
Pelt
that
or
Hertz
Scott Van Pelt?
would do enough study to know that Scott Van Pelt is from the Washington area, right?
Yeah, and I do love that Hertz is trying to have a little more personality.
Yeah, this is
it's hard for him,
and
Mike.
A lot of people looked at it and go, that's kind of forced and awkward, right? All right, so here it was last night. It's a shame we can't see the video here because you can see his mannerisms, his expression, and the fact that he had sunglasses on. And a lot of people saying, yeah, he was definitely get cussed because he's goofy here. All right, here it goes.
Hey, Scott, how are you feeling? You're a DMV guy, huh?
I mean, is this what we're going to do? Is this really what we're going to do? I mean, I'm okay. Hey, we'll see. Hey, we'll see you down here in a little bit. That's okay. No, I'm okay. Listen, no joke.
I was just asking, man.
No joke. You guys, everyone knows what you are. They're trying to build down here, but, we look forward to seeing you in our neighborhood in a while. I know there'll be a lot of Philly fans in the building.
I like D.C.
Okay. I appreciate you, Jalen. Thanks so much, man. Be good.
All right.
Man comes out, puts on sunglasses and heckling me on my show.
That wasn't awkward. That was very awkward.
Very awkward. Very awkward. Jalen, he tries, man. It's hard for a robot. He's trying. He's trying.
Yeah, Van Pelt just got all gooey, dude. You hear him? All gooey. Jalen's having comedy with me.
So I admit things on the show sometimes, and then I get accused of being dumb. I never knew that DMV was a nickname for Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. I didn't know that was like a saying. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's called the what's DMV stand for?
It's District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know that. Tom, did you know that?
I had heard DMV for that area. I didn't know that's what it stood for, though.
I thought DMV was where you went and got your driver's license and waited in line for a long time.
That's also correct.
Yeah. It's like the Delaware Valley that we call it up here.
The DMV. Anyway, good job, Jalen.
All right. My man FedEx Ed is checking it. He's got a beef with me. Yeah, he does have a beef with me, and I know why. Let's go to FedEx Ed in Delaware. FedEx, what's up?
Hey, I was listening to you earlier about the call, the pass interference call, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Where the guy's fingernail caught onto the guy's towel or whatever it was hanging, his jersey.
Yeah.
And they called pass interference.
Mm-hmm.
And you are okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand you, Mike.
What do you not understand?
Come on, it wasn't pass interference. And I mean, the guy, if the guy's
here's the thing, Ed. I respect the fact you look at it provincially. You are inclined to say
old school.
No. Hold on. Let me explain. You always look like you're always going to look at it like the Eagles got hosed. I get it. But I'm looking at it from the eyeballs of the official who looks and sees a tug on the jersey.
I'm looking at it like the referees are interfering with the game. Let them play the game and stop making these ticky-tack calls that are ridiculous. There was also another holding call that they replayed, and there was no hold. And I'm like, what is it? You know, it's almost like they want to get involved with the game. They want to be part of the game. They're
See, you let officials bug you, and I don't. And I look at it like they are programmed to say, if you see a tug on a jersey, that's a hold. So that's pass interference. Now, I don't know what more you could have seen there. He tugged on his jersey.
What you're looking at.
Well, he tugged on his jersey. He pulled his jersey.
Yeah.
He didn't pull his jersey.
Oh, of course he did. Look at the replay.
His fingernail got caught.
It doesn't matter whether there's his fingernail or not. There was a tug on the jersey.
Man, Mike.
He pulled the jersey. He stretched the jersey, dude.
Yeah, Ed, I didn't love the call, but I always like to look at things as, imagine if that was the other way around. They don't call the penalty, and then they show it on the big screen at the link. You don't think all the Eagles fans would have been booing that it wasn't called when you see the shirt get tugged like that?
They're all homers, man. They're all homers. Come on, let's get real here.
I think the ref had to probably call it. I didn't love it, but I think he had to call it.
You don't think you're being a homer here?
No.
How on earth are you not being a homer? Yeah, you saw the guy jersey being tugged. The official looks at the tug. He's not going to make a value judgment that it's against the Eagles.
Nah. Mike, you've gotten soft.
Come on, Ed. You're being ridiculous. I'm merely looking at it. These officials are going, you see a tug like that, you get caught. That's what they're not going to say. They're not going to. They only have a split second to make the decision in their head. They're not going to say, "Well, that didn't impede the play." Yeah. They're saying the easiest part of that whole thing for them to call is the tug of the jersey and the stretch of the jersey.
Yeah. Again, I said I didn't love it, but I do understand when you see the shirt being pulled like that. You have to call.
I understand it. All Eagle fans look at all calls like it's going against their team. It's the nature of being a fan. But there's another side to it. The other side is what the official sees.
Yeah, he's got to call it. Yeah, we got a big 12 o'clock hour coming up. No pressure on Tom Albert here.
We got the news at noon
with Tom Albert today.
Tom Albert, light work, not worried at all.
Tom Albert, and not Ray Dunn. So we'll see if there's any kind of a difference in the humor.
Yeah. Don't bleep it up, Tom. There. Don't bleep it up.
And we also have our fearless selections. I think I got a great college football outright coming this weekend.
Reading the line?
I'll totally read the line. It's the Mike Missanelli Show right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Show, the 12 o'clock hour is presented by. I am so discombobulated right now. Oh my God. Oh, 12, here it is. I have 74 pieces of paper here.
You
And I
do
got
have
it
a
all
lot.
spread out, and I think I have it organized, but I never do. Service First Heating and Air Conditioning brings you the 12 o'clock hour. You get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
In the news at noon saddle today, one Tom Alvord. Tom,
How we
what do
doing?
we have today?
Yes, we got some fun stuff to do today, to talk about today. Ray did not give me a heads up on how to do this, so we're just going to wing it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Oh,
So,
look at this.
Let's go.
On the fly, he's doing it.
All right, so this one with a little bit of help from Bill Colarulo, who sent me this last night, and then I saw it a little bit later on. Obviously, we have a big event tonight. We got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson exclusively on Netflix, and obviously both guys are doing their rounds, having the interviews, trying to promote the fight. Well, Mike Tyson was getting interviewed by a 13-year-old named Jazzy. 13 years old. Not sure why he was getting interviewed by her, someone so young. But she was really looking forward to getting a good answer from someone who was such an iconic figure. And despite the interviewer being 13, Mike Tyson gave a very adult answer. Take a listen to this.
What type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Man, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before, someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? You think somebody really wants to think about you? I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone?
Oh, my God.
How do you not love him? Love Iron Mike.
Come on,
13-year-old interviewer.
Come on.
You're dead.
Yeah, Mike, I hate to break it to you. That's kind of what legacy is when you die. It really.
I thought that was so good,
The
man.
whole point of legacy when you die.
Oh, the best, though, is the 13-year-old. True professional. Oh, thank you for that. I've never heard that.
Never heard that. Well, she had poise.
Yes, she did. Yes.
That's probably why she got the interview. She's some precocious interviewer.
Hey, man, Mike Tyson is locked in for this big fight tonight. You guys watching it all night real quick?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm really
out of curiosity. I'm watching it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how legit it is. You know, the fix may be in,
Yes,
but I'm
very
still.
possible.
They got me. I'm in.
All right, we're going to move over to the hardwood here. And Carmelo Anthony was on an NBA podcast. This was recently, probably within the last couple days or so. And he's talking about a wild encounter he ended up having with a celebrity fan. Take a listen to Carmelo Anthony's encounter with Stevie Wonder.
All-Star Weekend, L.A. We're in the back locker room. Yo, Stevie Wonder, yo, want to meet the players. Boom, boom, boom. Come out. Yo, Stevie, Carmelo Anthony. Boom, boom, boom. Man. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. You got to say it, bro. Don't try it out the lab. He said, I love watching you play. Come out, yo.
Love watching you play.
You know what's great about these podcasts with players? That they tell these stories that we've never heard before, but they're special to those guys. And they have no filter when it comes to it. Like they're not being interviewed by anybody where they have to be cautious. They just tell these wild stories from their past.
Yeah, you've said that before, where they let it all out.
Yeah.
So Stevie Wonder loved watching them play.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it Chappelle? Didn't Chappelle do a whole skit about Stevie Wonder?
He probably did.
It was a comedian. I forget if it was Chappelle. Shaq has said something similar before, where he was in like an elevator, and Stevie was like, "Yeah, what's up, Shaq?"
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, he knew who he was.
Yeah.
Did you see Shaq the other night do the salty sea dog captain?
No.
With the wrinkled eye. Did you see him do that?
With the hat on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
What the hell was that? It was weird.
I think they were giving away what? Like captain hats for Klay Thompson?
Yeah, he had the captain hat on, but he was doing an old salty sea dog captain with like one mangled eye.
That's Shaq, man.
All right, lastly, what do you got?
Last one here, real quick. A little bit of actual potential news. So, obviously, the Phillies got to make some big-time moves after their NLDS loss to the New York Mets, which is actually absolutely disastrous. And Buster Olney was on the Baseball Tonight podcast and said there's potentially a big trade coming for the Phillies.
And just to follow up on a few things you mentioned about Alec Boehm, what I'm hearing from other teams is, yeah, he's going to be traded. Like, he's out there a bunch. And they say, the Phillies are enough, they've been around long enough to know that they could squash that if they wanted to. They could go out, they could whisper to the reporters, yeah, Boehm's not really available. They're not doing that. So the assumption with other teams that Boehm is going to be traded.
Well, that's piggybacking on what we talked about yesterday with Passan.
Yeah, and now
you're going to get traded. So the big trade, what is it? What could it be?
Are you going to be able to bring back a player for Boehm, or is it just assets?
Can't be prospects, can it?
I got to think it's an important player who can play outfield.
Yeah. But Buster Olney makes a good point. The Phillies could easily squash us if they wanted to, and they're not.
Oh, or maybe they want to make him nervous. So he finally learns once and for all that he was almost traded, and he wants to stay here because he loves this place.
And Adam Miller's not ready to come up yet, right?
No.
And even if he is ready,
they would trade for an outfielder and a stopgap third baseman. Or maybe they're thinking of signing Bregman. I don't know. Who knows?
I'd be on board with Bregman. But when Miller is ready, he's going to play short, right?
No. I don't think he's a shortstop.
Short or third?
Yeah, I don't think he's a shortstop at this level.
So you think he plays third?
I think he's got a power bat. I think he'll get bigger. I don't think he'll be a shortstop. Well, although he thinks he's going to be a shortstop, I don't think.
Because I'm just trying to play it out.
Years down the road, that he's a shortstop.
I'm trying to play it out in my head that if he was the shortstop, then you move Turner to second, right?
And what do you do with that?
I don't know. Then what are you doing with Stott? Who we talked about this before. Stott, we still think could be a 300 hitter.
I do. Yeah. I don't know if I think he's a good player. I would not move Stott. I think he gives you a lot of advantages as a Gold Glove second baseman who, when he first came up, everybody said, this guy could possibly win a batting title, and he runs. And you need to have guys like that can run.
So you wouldn't trade Stott, but how do you feel about them considering trading Boehm?
I wouldn't have a problem with trading Boehm.
Me either. But if you would have asked me that.
But then you got a third base part. What's the third? Who are you going to play there? You're going to get like a Pedro Feliz type of guy who could give you a year or two? A Polanco type of guy who could give you a year or two? Yeah,
Didn't they win a World Series with Pedro Feliz?
Yeah,
as your third baseman? But you know what's crazy? All-Star break. If we would have said Phillies are going to trade Boehm in the offseason, I think people would have thought we were crazy.
Well, after the start he got off to. But even the start he got off to, there was still that moping factor.
Yeah, and
I never saw that moping factor when he first came up. It's like
remember, I hate this bleeping place. That's a couple years ago.
Yeah, but he's been here for a while now. Like when he first came up as a rookie, I don't think I saw that kind of thing in him. The longer he's played up here, the less mature he's gotten.
Yeah, you can't be moping at 28 years old.
It's really weird.
But it is, as much as I'm on board because I did hate the moping, you would be trading a guy who finished, second in doubles in Major League Baseball? It's a bold move, but maybe that's what it's going to take. You got to be bold. You can't just run it back like you did this year. So I'm on board.
Listen, I think he's a good player. I wouldn't be upset. Like, I don't hate him to the point where I want to get rid of him. But if they think that they've got other problems, so to fill his other problems, he's your most marketable guy to fill them, probably. Yeah. All right, 610-632-0997. We are getting a ton of texts. We're setting a record for text messages for today. So let's get, and a lot of them are Jalen Hurts oriented. So, Tom, we got a break coming up, but give me a couple of these Hurts things. Are people reluctant to commit to Hurts?
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that today is the Hurts conversation. I was expecting that more for like Monday or Tuesday, not day after a big win. But regardless, we got into the conversation a little bit earlier about where Jalen Hurts ranks. And no name here, unfortunately, but this texter says, That's not the reason that people are hesitant on Hurts. The reason is because the team around him is so good, and he still has these struggles. Put him on the Packers or a team with not much talent, and he's not a top 20 quarterback in this league.
I hate that argument. And that's the same argument they used against Hurts in 2022. And I always throw this out. Eliminate Patrick Mahomes from the conversation, who has Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. But you name me a quarterback that has succeeded in this league with no weapons around them. Name me a quarterback that's had success with no weapons. I think
Brady.
it's... You're going to name the GOAT?
Well...
You're going to name the GOAT?
Name me a quarterback that succeeded with no what? Brady.
He had Gronk.
Yeah, before that, what did he have?
He had Wes Welker.
He had Wes Welker came out of nowhere as a slot receiver. He had Troy Brown.
So I'll give you Brady.
Deion Branch. He had those guys.
I'll give you Brady and Mahomes, two of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen in the last 20 years. Who else? And I see people on YouTube saying Josh Allen. Josh Allen has weapons. Josh Allen has weapons. I think I don't like that argument that because Jalen Hurts has weapons, he wouldn't be good without him. Okay. People are going to maybe go back to Carson Wentz. What was it, 2019? Was that the year Wentz played
Greg
pretty
Ward
well?
Was his number one receiver?
Yeah, he didn't have any good receivers. I'm saying it's few and far between teams that can have success and quarterbacks that can have success with no one around them. I don't like the argument at all.
Okay. We have more of these texts about Hurts. We're going to get to them. It's very interesting phenomenon. This is a big win for them last night. And the Hurts thing still resonates with people. He's not good enough. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Now.
look back at the game last night and what the turning point was. Well, was there any clearer turning point than when the Washington Commanders, trailing 12-10, midway through the fourth quarter, game right within their grasp. They've got the ball. They're at the Eagles' 25-yard line. 25-yard line. It's 12-10. A team that is worthy of being a division winner, like we were told the Washington Commanders were, gets points there. Scores a touchdown there, but at the very least gets 3 to take the lead. It's 2nd and 1 on the 25-yard line, no less. Brian Robinson, no gain. Robinson again on 3rd down and 1. They stop him for a loss of 1. Now, at that point, it's 4th and 2. What coach would not take the lead there? Please tell me. This is the clash between analytics and sound coaching logic. They go for it, and they don't get it. That's their quarterback getting the snap, not really securing the snap. It's all helter-skelter. He tries to roll. No go. So now, this is a coach that said, I don't want to take the lead here with a field goal. I want to keep trying for a touchdown, but also not thinking of the other side. It's now 4th and 2. If I don't get it and the Eagles come down and score a touchdown, where do I go now with 4 minutes left when I need 2 scores? Explain that to me, Bill.
I can. I thought it was a terrible call because play it out the other way. It's a 12-10 game. Let's say that the Commanders pick up the first down and they score a touchdown. They make the game 17-12. Maybe they go for they would make it 17-12. Maybe they go for 2. Whatever. The Eagles would have to score a touchdown to take the lead. If you kick the field goal there and you make it 13-12, the Eagles probably still are going to have to score a touchdown because they had a kicker that they couldn't trust last night. So why not put the pressure on them? The risk-reward, again, when you go for it on 4th down, it's all about risk-reward. So even if you pick up the first down and ultimately score a touchdown, the Eagles have to score a touchdown to take the lead. But if you kick the field goal, they probably still have to score a touchdown because Jake Elliott couldn't make field goals last night. It just didn't make sense to me. Why take that risk when the reward wasn't high enough? You're on the road. Take the lead. Especially, like you said, 2nd and 1, they're stopped. 3rd and 1, they're stopped. Terrible decision by Dan Quinn. But Eagles benefited, but to their credit, not only did they come up big and make the stop, they then made the Commanders pay for it because they took it right down the field and scored a touchdown 74 yards.
I got to be honest, I have a lack of trust for any coach that wears a backwards hat.
You don't like the backwards hat in anyone over the age of 15?
The backwards hat's a bad look. And Dan Quinn wears the backwards hat. Constantly. If
that hat was forward, he wasn't make that decision last night.
Well, I don't trust. I don't trust the backwards hat man.
Tom's wearing a hat today, but it's forward.
Yeah, it's forward hat. Also, Tom's young. Dan Quinn, much too old to be wearing a backwards hat. He wears it on his press conferences too. He's a backwards hat man.
All right, so I want the Mike Missanelli rule on this. When can you stop wearing a backwards hat?
I just go by feel. You know, like if you're in your 20s, you want to wear a backwards hat, whatever. If you're a tennis player and you want the hat on, but you don't want the brim in the front because you can't see the serve. Like but the backwards hat is a kind of like a young man look that I think older people try to look young by wearing the backwards hat.
What if Dan Quinn's an avid tennis player?
Well, is he playing tennis last night?
I don't know. Maybe. He's
not playing tennis, nor is he playing tennis when he's doing the press conferences. It just looks odd to me. The backwards hat looks like I'm trying to be overly cool by wearing the backwards hat, and I happen to be 38.
All right, well,
I'm 45, and I'm still wearing it.
I will admit, I'm 41. I rock the backwards hat.
You do?
I like a backwards trucker hat.
You rock the backwards hat?
I do. Not often. I mean, I never wear it here. But I'll throw the
I've
hat
never
on.
seen you wear the backwards hat. Had I seen you wear the backwards hat, I would have given you the same guff.
Now, you don't wear a backwards hat on a golf course. Major violation. But I've rocked the backwards hat before if I'm running to the store or.
Why?
I like that look better than the forward hat. That's all it is. I just like the look better.
What do you feel younger? Like, it's to make you feel like young?
I don't know.
What is it about it? Yeah.
I just always was a backwards hat guy. And maybe I need to grow up. Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
but I
maybe.
just always did it.
So you always did it in your 20s.
Yeah.
So now you keep doing it, but then there's a line of demarcation for the backwards hat.
At least you're not doing it in professional settings. Dan Quinn's doing it in professional settings. You're just running the shop right with a backwards hat.
True.
A little bit better.
True. Yeah.
Doesn't excuse it, but it's a little bit better.
It doesn't excuse. You don't do the backwards hat?
Nah, I'm not a big hat guy.
You're wearing a hat right now.
Wow, was here till 1:30, woke up at 7:30. We're not showering this morning.
Yeah, how about
That's
Tom
the
did
difference.
post game last night?
I'm not looking for pity. I'm just giving you.
Tell you what.
Just telling you what.
Tom picked up his buddy Ray Dunn.
He did.
Came right into the void.
He said, I got you, Ray.
Yeah.
I wonder if Ray's listening. You think Ray's listening?
No.
Ray, if you're listening, send us a text.
No, I don't think he's listening.
I want to know how dedicated you are to
You
the
guys
show.
are old news to
No.
Ray Dunn today.
Nope. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, our Fearless Pick segment. Bill is 23-7, and he hasn't made 3 cents all year because he's reluctant to actually play the games that he puts out there.
I play them just like
I
small
don't know.
bucks,
I
small
think
bets.
you're one of those guys that likes to throw it out there, but are afraid to really risk the money. That's what I think. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this. I try to put Ray under the microphone, under the hot light with this song, and then I'll put Tom Alvord. What's the name of this band, Tom?
No comment.
Hey, he won't even go there.
I noticed it right away.
Oh, this is Mannequin?
No.
Yeah.
Well, you got half of it, right?
Yeah. Well, we've said it on the air because it's the name of the band.
I always like to give them tribute because they're a Philly band.
Apparently, they play them on other stations here, and they say the name of the band.
They do.
Really?
Yes.
It's blanked out.
This is not like an underground band. They're popular. They're Philly-oriented, popular alt band going right now.
You say so.
Mannequin Pussy.
Yeah.
Is what they are.
There it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Do we have to dump it?
No.
No, you could say
that's the name of their band.
That's the name of the band.
So I can name my band whatever I want, and people have to say it.
Oh, it's like The
Maybe.
Sopranos. Can I say the character Pussy Bompensero?
I think you can.
There
think you just did.
In The Sopranos, two guys named Pussy. One was Pussy Pompensero, the other one was Pussy Malanga, who the Uncle June had these delusions that he was after him. And that's why he shot Tony.
Yeah, you should be able to say it. Look, yesterday we were talking about nicknames for certain names like Williams, Bill, Richard, Dick. We were going through that whole thing.
No, I just wanted to put Alfred under the microscope there.
Yeah, Tom did.
Sally handled it.
Well, that was
They're both
terrifying.
silly. He and Ray are both polite gents. You know? So you like to,
Yep.
get him gritty every now and then.
I just don't want to get fired for saying it on air. That's
No,
all.
you don't. By the way, Mike didn't thank you, but he was chomping away on your Johnson's popcorn the other day.
The caramel
Yes,
corn.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
You're welcome.
That
Glad you like
Tom
it.
Alfred at his wedding, the little favors that they gave were little boxes of little Tupperware containers of Johnson's popcorn.
Nice touch, because you know where Tom's from. He went to Ocean City High School.
Are you from Ocean City?
I am, yeah.
Oh, there
absolutely.
you go.
So nice little touch.
Ocean City High, Boardwalk man.
Yeah, that was the wife's mother's idea.
Oh, nice job. That was a nice touch.
Also known as your
Very nice touch.
mother-in-law now.
I'm still getting used to it. I've been calling her my fiance the last week, and it's not right. So I'm
My
still getting
wife's
used to it.
mother.
We'll get there.
I think my daughter's wedding gave out something similar to that. Like, I forget what it was. It was something very unique that her mother conjured up.
Was it a Mannequin Pussy CD?
No, it was not.
It was not. It was.
How do you forget? It was like a year ago. Right? Did she get married like a year and a half ago?
It wasn't my thing, so I didn't really pay much attention to it.
You just signed the checks.
I think my sister actually gave up little bottles of homemade limoncello, too.
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You know, that may be a violation as an Italian. I hate limoncello.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
Too sweet, usually, but everyone makes a big deal about it.
Yeah, I don't like the sweetness. I like a digestif called Averna at the end of a meal.
Yeah, I like
you Averna, man?
I'm not.
You're
I like
Amaro, man. You drink Amaros at the end of a meal?
I don't. I like a little double espresso after a nice meal. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything for your digestion, Mr. Health.
I think it helps.
The Averna is a digestif, which will help you digest that crazy meal that you just had.
You know what helps me?
All right, in any event, that's good. We off on a tangent again. It's time for our pick segment, our locks of the week. Bill, I got to defer to you. 23-7. They're all NFL picks, too. I've been crappy on NFL, but here it is. There it is, the football music. Bill, who do you have this week?
Yeah, 23-7 with the spread. A lot of people just pick games. No. We do it with the spreads. This was a tough week in the NFL. I'm going to start with my favorite team in the NFC other than the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dan Campbell-led Detroit Lions. They are 13.5-point favorites at home against Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with the Jags plus 13.5. I think the Lions win the game, but I don't think they cover.
It's such a line telling you to go the other way. Well, you just ignore those lines. But that's all right. Go ahead.
23-7.
It's so easy to take 13.5 points. Why do you think that they post that 13.5? The Lions win that by 25.
All right, we'll see what happens on Monday.
Go ahead.
We'll see what happens on Monday.
Go ahead.
Next, Cincinnati Bengals, 1.5-point dogs in LA going up against the Chargers. I'm going to take the points, but I'm considering Cincinnati Bengals money line. But I'm going to go Bengals plus 1.5 in LA against Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
All right. And your lock of the week, which is presented by McCausland Lock Services, For up to 50% off car keys and remotes, just go where the dealers go. McCausland Lock Services.
So my lock of the week, and I love this one. The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, 9-0, going to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills. Buffalo's favored by 2.5.
They're going down, aren't they?
I'm taking the Bills, baby.
A lot of people love that selection this week.
I love that game.
The Chiefs are due to go down.
They are due. I'm all over Buffalo minus 2.5. That's the lock of the week for me.
All right, there you go. For me, my NFL picks have not been great, but my college picks have been spectacular. So I'll give you my NFL game first. The Dolphins starting to play a little better. Tua back. They're a whopping 7.5-point favorite against the Raiders. Dolphins at home. I think they covered that. I think that's a double-digit win for the Dolphins. But I'm also I need some help on this line here. The Broncos are -2 against the Falcons.
Well, the Broncos almost beat the Chiefs last week, but for that blocked field goal. They're playing all right.
I'm looking at that line going, maybe that's Broncos against a better team. But I'll leave that as a parentheses selection. Let me go to my college picks. UCLA, under the radar, playing very well. They go to Washington, which is coming off getting hammered by Penn State. This game's line has gone from UCLA +8 to UCLA +4. A division of half. People betting UCLA. I'll take the Bruins, and I'll take them maybe to win the game.
But +4 is the line you got.
+4. The lock of the week is another college game. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for this. Make sure you tell your friends and neighbors that you heard it first right here. BYU right now is a top 4 in the college football playoffs. They are at home this week against Kansas. And yet, this line has gone down. Kansas +7 to Kansas only +2.5. Heavy money coming in on the Jayhawks, and it'll be an outright. Kansas to upset BYU.
So you're taking 2 dogs in college football.
I am.
Is that your lock of the week, the Kansas game?
That is my lock of the week.
Is that money line or 2.5?
Kansas 2.5, but they're going to win the game against BYU in a shocking upset. And that's our locks of the week.
And now we'll go to our prognosticator. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we don't have
one anymore because he was getting his ass kicked by us.
Tom got all. You put him in shock. Oh, did I miss something?
Yeah, he's like, wait, where's that on the line?
He told me not to do picks.
We no longer have our pro prognosticator because he jilted us. He ghosted us. It's like a relationship that he didn't call us anymore.
Speaking of which, you just reminded me of something.
What?
A relationship. You know, like some people, they would see their ex happy and flourishing in a new relationship, and they would be extremely jealous. This guy, Sean Marash, who does a show with Tiki Barber. Did you see his tweet? I know Tom did because Tom sent it to me. Sean Marash, this is what he had to say last night, 11:02 p.m. Listen to this, Mike.
Who is Sean Marash? Should I know
he does a show with Tiki Barber. He's a Giants fan.
Okay.
Giants fan.
All right.
But I'm talking about, being jealous of a ex who's flourishing. This is from him. Eagles fans high-fiving each other about a running back they paid a ton for. A running back they'll never win a Super Bowl with, all while the Giants found a better one in the 5th round of a draft, making an 1/8 of the money. It's got to be brutal being a Philly lunkhead. Does that sound like a jealous ex if I've ever heard one? Are you kidding me? What Saquon has done for this Philadelphia Eagles football team, and you're going to put out a tweet like that?
Yeah, those New York people are very bitter. When they get bitter, they get bitter because they have this air of superiority.
Jealousy.
And when the underdog is better than them, they don't like it. But let's play with that relationship thing. You are on the side of hoping that your ex and being pleased by the fact that your ex.
No, I said some. I always
that your ex is flourishing with someone else. You like that?
No, I said some people are like that. Oh, some people are angry. It doesn't bother me.
Oh, it doesn't bother you?
Nah, what do I care what's going on with
All
exes?
depends on what the circumstances were. If it's an ex that broke up with you, you want them flourishing?
Do you really think there are any women out there that broke up with me? Do you really think that, Mike? Come on now.
Oh, my God. I wish nothing but misery on an ex. Really. I could care less if they're happy. It makes me unhappy that they're happy.
Yeah, but that's this guy. See? So you agree with this New York Giant fan?
In certain circumstances.
You see, I'm living my best life. I don't care what happened to my
listen
exes.
to you, man. Living your best life.
Living my best life. By the way, how about the shot that Tom, talking about living my best life, that Tom and Matt Manarick, one of our esteemed producers here.
This was Matt's idea.
Taking a shot. So there was a commercial that just ran where it's Brandon Graham and Garrett Stubbs. And Manarick comes in and says, that reminded me of Mike Missanelli and Bill Colarulo. You have a Philadelphia legend in Brandon Graham with Garrett Stubbs. What a shot!
That was Matt's idea.
What a shot was taken at me.
Matt sees you as Garrett Stubbs?
Oh, man, what a shot.
Good vibes, man.
I'm the vibes guy, I
Nothing
guess.
wrong with that. You're not going to have a job next year with the Phillies, but...
That's funny. Let's go to Greg in Bethlehem checking in. What's up, Greg?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
How you doing, Greg?
Good, good. How sustainable do you think the Eagles' pattern of the defense having to hold down the fort for the first quarter or so before the offense can get it in gear? It seems like...
I know where you're going with this, Greg, because this is the typical Greg viewpoint. That you can't live all the way like that. You can't live when that's happening, and eventually that's going to get you, right?
I guess.
All right. I'm sorry. Well, make your point. Maybe I was wrong. Is the defense good enough to carry the offense when it starts slow? Well, how do you feel about that? Do you think so?
Well, so far, so good. I mean, it's,
Then what are you worried about?
Well...
I detect some worry in your voice.
Yeah, I'm always worried about something.
You are. You're a worriesman.
Yeah.
Why is that about you, Greg? Why are you a worriesman?
I don't know. I just am, I suppose.
Have you always been like that? Like as a kid, were you always fretting about something?
Well, I was always sort of a serious kid, I suppose you'd say.
Yeah, serious kid. Okay.
Well, I was sick, and I couldn't do a lot of physical things, so...
Oh, okay. All right. I was just... But yeah, I don't want...
Yeah, now, Greg, we feel bad
now I feel bad. Yeah. But, okay, so tell me what your concern is here.
Well, if you get to playing a higher-powered team... the offense may need to kick it in gear sooner.
Yeah. So where is that going to come? Where is this higher-powered team that they're going to play? Right now, when you look at it, let's be realistic about the conference. Like, we can see them get to the title game in this conference, right?
Yeah, I mean, Detroit is the obvious, at least to me, opportunity.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, for A, it might not always be that way. Like, this was a weird dynamic coming off a Sunday game, playing on a Thursday. You're right in that they haven't started well in probably almost every game this year, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I can see where you would be concerned about that. But, they have winnable games coming up. They have a couple tough games. It might get them in one of these games. But their defense is really good.
Yeah, it's a pleasure watching them. I mean, it almost... There's times when I can almost see Dawkins back there.
Listen, it's a staple. It really, and I didn't expect it. They started out 2-2, and I'm going, hey, Fangio, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But they have blended, with those two young kids in there, and the way Baun has played, and Carter has been very consistent. those things are making that defense good. Oh, there he is. Ricky's wearing a backwards hat. Ricky's a backwards hat dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
I'm most impressed with the tackling. In the past, you'd have corners that would close quickly and then whiff. And now it seems like our guys
you're absolutely right about that. They're a short tackling team. Their linebackers, what were we talking about coming into the year? We had questions about their linebackers and their pass rush. And the secondary, we were a little more convinced, but on a veteran basis more than that. Like that, we were looking at Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, but it's turned out that the young kids are really, we were worried about the slot corner as well.
We had a lot of worries about the defense.
And all those holes have been filled in.
What's crazy is you just said we were worried about the linebackers. I remember being on the air when Vic Fangio gave his first press conference, and they asked him about the linebacker group, and the first name out of his mouth was Zach Baun.
Yep.
And a lot of us assumed that he was just still learning his roster. He was just grasping for names. And now Zach Baun, Mike, should legitimately be in Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I'm not exaggerating with that. Zach Baun should be in Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He has been that good. And Greg being worried about how long can we rely on this defense to carry the offense when they come out to slow starts? The whole season, man. Because you have a good defense. You have a top 3 defense in the NFL. And when you have weapons on offense like the Eagles have, it's only a matter of time before they're going to break through in a game. It's what you saw last night. You keep feeding Saquon. And now I'm going to jump to Saquon. He seems to get better as the game goes on, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. We were talking about that a little earlier. He's strong enough where he doesn't wear down. And so when everybody else is worn down, that dude is carrying people.
He is.
And he still has that burst. Where he runs away from people. We're talking about late in the game.
And we kept saying, well, can this defense, though, can they do it against a good team? That Commanders team coming in was a top 3 offense in terms of points per game, top 4 in terms of yards per game. And the Eagles defense, pretty much up until that last drive where they went into a prevent, held them under 200 yards and 10 points. This defense is for real. And I think Greg is the outlier. I think most fans who are following this team are all in on this defense.
Back to Baun real quick. Is there any chance they extend him in season?
They have to, dude.
Right? Like, you can't let him hit the open market.
Yeah. I think Howie's working on that.
Tom, that's a great point, man. Now, look, if I'm Baun's agent, I'm asking for a ton. I mean, you would think Bryce Huff, who's making, $15 million a year?
Maybe more. More than that? Something like that? I think 50, right? 3 years over 50?
Bryce Huff, let's see. What is he making? I mean, I know it's a different position. But when you figure you gave, he's 3 years, $51 million. So what's that, about 17 a year? I mean, you're going to have to pay Baun. They don't like paying linebackers, though. Is there any chance that Howie Roseman doesn't pay this guy?
You can't make the same T.J. Edwards mistake twice in 4 years or whatever it was. You can't.
They got to get him locked down. He's that good.
By the way, speaking of Saquon, this is just an offbeat question. Is Saquon Barkley the best Penn State pro ever? Well, there's one in the Hall of Fame. Franco
Harris was a Penn State guy?
What?
I blocked that out.
What are you kidding me?
I even knew that, man.
I know. I'm busting his chops.
I don't think you are.
I actually have it in front of me. So
what? You have what in front of you?
All the Hall of Famers. So Jack Ham was another one, right?
Ham.
Lenny Moore.
Yeah,
Mike Munchak.
It's going back way. Munchak was an offensive lineman.
Dave Robinson. And Mike
way back.
Wachowski.
All right. So if you're going in modern day,
it's got to be Saquon.
It's got to be Saquon as the best Penn State pro ever, right?
Well, it could have been Kajana Carter.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Would he blow out his ACL first year, didn't he?
Collins not going to get in the Hall of Fame, but his numbers are like Hall of Fame worthy. Franco Harris is Micah Parsons still has the legacy to grow. But right now, you have to say that Penn State is ruled by Saquon Barkley is the best player ever.
Man, when he gets into the open field at 235 pounds, with the speed and agility he has.
It's amazing.
Incredible, man.
610-632-0975. 1 o'clock hours ahead. We're going to recap what we saw in that game last night. And we need your texts. We need your calls. What do you have right now? Bill is saying this is a Super Bowl team. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds beat the Commanders. I'm Tom Alvord, and this update is brought to you by Ashley and Ben Salem. This Saturday, grab the family and head to Ashley on Street Road and Ben Salem. Get your photo with star athletes Brandon Graham and Garrett Stubbs, a.k.a. Bill Colarulo. Then stick around for your chance to win free Ashley gift cards to upgrade your home. Yes, the Eagles beat the Commanders last night in comeback fashion by a score of 26-18, despite Jake Elliott missing 3 kicks and scoring just 6 points total through 3 quarters. Saquon Barkley, fantastic, 198 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts got the job done, 260 total yards, a touchdown, and 0 turnovers once again. Zach Baum, by the way, led the team with 15 tackles in last night's game. Head coach Nick Sirianni spoke post-game and talked a little bit about the win on a short week.
Yeah, it was a good win. Anytime you can get a win in this league, it's huge. It's a good opponent. So much respect for Coach Quinn. He's done an unbelievable job. So we knew we had to be on it today, and so good opponent on a short week, and it was big to get a win.
Eagles are now 8-2 on the season and first in the NFC East. Flyers beat the Senators on the road last night by a score of 5-4 in OT, thanks to a Matbey Michkov game-winning goal. And the Sixers head to Orlando to face the Magic tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update also brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement, waterproofing, and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Tom Alvord on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Missanelli Show has been holding court.
I didn't think that the Washington Commanders were ready for prime time. The Eagles are the prime time team. The other team is not. And I thought you saw that clearly last night. When you have a defense that plays the way the Eagles defense has been playing, and then you have the ability to rebound from kind of a lackluster type of offense to get it going when it's most important, that's a sign of a good team. And last night was a big test for them, and they passed it with flying colors. The Eagles on their way now, and now it's just a matter of can they be good enough to actually win enough games to get a number one seed. You know, last night, to me, I was looking at it going, okay, I thought the Eagles were going to win that game. I thought that they were better prepared, and that team is not ready for prime time. But the Eagles are. That was a solid victory that they had last night. So, Billy Boy, I know yesterday you were arguing the merits of the Eagles being the better team in the NFC, and I assume that after you witnessed last night, you were still on that track.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
I'm feeling great today, Mike. Look, it's Thursday night football, and Thursday night games, we know they're going to be sloppy. You got the short week, you don't rest as much, you can't game plan as much, so I didn't expect them to come out firing on all cylinders. But when you have a defense as good as the Philadelphia Eagles do now, and this is no longer, oh, well, look at who they're playing. This Commanders offense was a very good offense coming in, and this defense shut them down again. I'm so excited about this defense. When you can play like they're playing, and then you come back to offense, and you have guys like Saquon, and Jalen Hurts even turned it on and did enough with his legs late. This team, they could beat anybody. And this is what we've been saying for a couple of weeks on this show. There is no reason why fans shouldn't look at this Eagles team and say that they are not true contenders. They can beat anyone, and they proved it last night. I'm fired up. I had a hard time sleeping because I was so excited.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's the 1 o'clock hour brought to us by Ferguson HVAC, Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations, Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Let me bring this up to start the 1 o'clock hour because it has not been mentioned at all today by anybody in the chat, text, or in phone calls. Is there an Elliott problem?
Oh, I thought that's what you were going to say. You know, as great as last night was, you can't not feel a little bit concerned because it wasn't only last night with Jake Elliott. He hasn't looked as great as he's looked in previous seasons all year. He's missed some kicks. And I was just saying this to Ricky and Tyrone that this is the type of stuff that can lose you a playoff game. I mean, you have a kicker that you can't rely on. That's something that could lose you a playoff game down the road. Now, they overcame it last night. But if they would have lost last night, you could have clearly pointed to the two missed field goals and the extra point.
Kickers, here's the only thing I fear, because this is a pretty true statement. Kickers eventually go sour. They're like a bottle of orange juice that you keep too long. And then you pour it.
Does orange juice go sour after a while?
Yeah, sour orange. And then like it's inevitable that they go sour. It's like there's only I guess there are a few. Justin Tucker and Buttface haven't gone sour, but kickers are like relief pitchers in a lot of ways. You lose it, you lose the edge, and you start losing your confidence. That was a guy who had no confidence last night. You could tell on his face he had no confidence, and he had the hooks going on. And the more he tried to correct it, they were still there. It's like a golf swing. You try to correct the hook, you can't get it. You get so frustrated. I just hope, kicker is so mental that hasn't gotten into his head where he doesn't believe he can make a kick anymore. That's when a kicker is sour.
Our buddy David Akers weighed in on this.
He did?
He did. He tweeted out a few hours ago, I will say Jake Elliott has been almost perfection since the day he put on the midnight green. He is a stud, and I love watching him perform. Last night is a pebble in the road of his successes in the NFL and for the Birds. he has been a stud. Now, to your point, though, Mike, he's talking about the past. He's been a stud.
They go bad, and only the special kickers don't go bad. Now, I thought he was a special kicker. It wouldn't go bad. Last night, I saw a kicker that didn't have any confidence. And here's, like, the reaction that like, we have this friend chat, like 6 people on it, right? So my friends last night are saying, I'm guessing Elliott's not going to be around tomorrow. And I go, nah, they're not going to cut him. And he goes, oh, well, unless there's no one available, I don't see why not. So, like, fans are starting to lose that kind of faith in the kicker, which means, like, he's thinking about it. You know, kickers, he doesn't look like the type who's going to just blow something on. He got a look of woe on his face last night.
By the way, real quick, Elliott just signed a 4-year contract extension in March of this year.
Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere, but that complicates it. Because
here's what makes me feel better, and maybe I'm crazy for this. He's a scratch golfer. And I think a guy like Elliott, who is a scratch golfer, is going to be able to figure this out. I know people who aren't golfers are probably saying, what does one have to do with the other? But they are very similar. When you're a kicker, when you're a golfer, it's about your swing, it's about your mechanics. I think a guy like Elliott, who's a good golfer, he's a good ping pong player apparently as well. I just think he's going to be able to figure it out. He was drawing the ball a little bit too much last night. Everything was missing left. I'm still not to the point of sounding the alarms on a guy like Jake Elliott. I still think he will be okay, but you have to hope you have confidence in him down the stretch.
Well, I'm worried about his confidence. Confidence is the thing that separates a great player who then falls off. In a lot of ways, like a hitter, when you believe you can't hit, you are not going to hit. And when he believes he can't make a kick, that's in his head first. It's like putting. You know, I know he's a good golfer.
Yeah.
You stand over a putt, and the least little thing creeps in your eye, I can't make this. I'm not going to make this. That's what he is dealing with now as a kicker.
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats on the year. So he's 14 of 19. And I think I just saw someone in the chat say he's 5 for 10 from 40 plus. Let me see here. 40
He
plus.
hasn't made a kick over 50.
Yeah, he hasn't made one over 50.
Has not made one over 50. And last night he missed, what, 44?
Yeah, he missed a 44-yarder last night, and he missed a 51-yarder.
He has not made a kick over 50 and over this year.
And he missed that extra point.
And he used to be crazy money from over 50. All right, so let's hear Nick Sirianni, Tom. So that would be Nick Sirianni 2, where he was asked about the kicker, Jake Elliott, and here's what he had to say.
You can really build connections through tough times, right? And so obviously he was going through a tough time, but, you know, this team believes so much in Jake Elliott, because of his track record and who he is and the teammate he is, the captain he is, and just wanted to let him know that we all believed in him and can't wait for him to get his opportunity to go out and do it again.
All right. Listen, you should have that. You're not going anywhere with the guy. You got to hope that he gets it back together. I'm always fearful of kickers, relief pitchers, and hitters when they go bad.
Yeah.
Because it creeps in that, okay, now I can't hit, or I can't kick, or I can't get a guy out in late innings.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a valid point. Because once they go bad, you're right, they go bad. Now, you know I never give up an opportunity to defend the head coach. But I will say I've seen people out there saying, well, this is probably why Sirianni was passing up all those field goals against the Jaguars and the Saints, and I'm not buying that.
No, I think that was a Sirianni.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
Analytical dedication.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with and I don't buy because he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to kick this year because Sirianni's been going for it, that should influence you as a kicker. No. You come into a game, you're cold, right? You practice in pregame, but it's not game situation. So you start the game and you kick. You kick well.
Yeah, I don't give the head coach an excuse for going for it, and I don't say that the head coach is at fault. Elliott just needs to figure it out. But it is creeping in the back of my mind because when we talk about, hey, they're destined for an NFC championship game against the Detroit Lions, an easy way to lose a playoff game, missing some field goals.
All right, take a break. We'll come back. We got your calls. We have a lot of texts that we want to go over. We've set a record on text today, so people are doing the text thing with us today, and we'll go over a few of them. 610-622-0975. Back after this.
Friday, November 15th.
On the Mike Missanelli Show. Big win. Now, earlier in the show, we went over what teams both these teams have to play. I'm talking about Detroit and the Eagles, and in the collision course, it looks like they could either be the number 1 or number 2 seed. Just, you can do the math yourself. This looks like a season that maybe 14-3 gets it. 14-3, we get the number 1 seed, and all you got to do is you got to look at the remaining schedule to see if the Eagles can go 14-3.
And then you'd be worried about tiebreakers, though, because do you see the Lions losing more than 2 games? They're not going to lose to the Jags.
And just for the sake of argument here, the Lions are 8-1, and they have 4 really tough games coming up. They have the Packers, the Bills, the 49ers, and Vikings.
Yeah, that's
they also have the Jaguars.
4 weeks from now, though.
Yeah, they have the Jaguars, Colts, and Bears twice. There's 4 wins there. That's 12. If they go 1-3 against Packers, Bills, 49ers, Vikings, gets them to 13. 2-2 gets them to 14. Can the Eagles get to 14? The Eagles have the Rams, the Ravens, the Steelers, Washington. If they go 2-2 in those 4, they got 13. Would that be enough? It's going to really be interesting because it's a matter of whether you host that NFC title game here in cold weather or there where they're nice and cozy.
And maybe just as important as who hosts the NFC Championship game, only 1 team gets a bye now, remember. Since they changed that there's 3 wild card teams, the 1 seed gets a bye, the 2 seed does not anymore.
That's correct.
And that 7th seed, you could be talking about a 49ers team potentially, depending on how their rest of the season goes.
All right, let's get back to the text board. We got some more on Hurts, some more on the Eagles in general. Hit us.
Yes, we got a ton when it comes to Jalen Hurts in particular.
Let's work on these Hurts texts. I'm curious to know where this is going.
No name, unfortunately. Obviously, every quarterback has weapons, guys. It's the NFL. The difference is Hurts is lucky enough to have a top offensive line. Saquon, AJ, Devontae Smith, and Goddard. Half the league's quarterbacks could easily do what Jalen is doing with all those weapons. Stop saying because others have 1-star player and a bunch of just other guys that they also have weapons.
I think that's a hater right there. I do. Yeah, he's got weapons, but
Jared Goff has pretty good weapons.
Well, yeah, I've seen he does. He has great weapons there. He's got a great tight end in Sam Laporta. He's got
pretty good weapons now.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
What he doesn't have is what Hurts does have, though. Busting out of the pocket and making yards or carries. Like, that's an advantage for Jalen Hurts. I don't think people balance that out enough.
See, the other thing is look at A.J. Brown. And great wide receiver. Before he came here and played with Jalen Hurts, he had 1,051 yards his rookie year, 1,075 yards his second year, 869 yards his final year in Tennessee. His first 2 seasons here, he's got close to 1,500 yards each year. So, yes, A.J. Brown is a great weapon. But his game elevated once he started playing with Jalen Hurts. I don't think you can ignore that A.J. Brown didn't come close to putting up those numbers when he was with the Titans. And I guess who do you have then? Tannehill and Mariota at some point there?
Definitely Tannehill. Not sure about Mariota. We got another one here. This is from Vasily, I believe is how you say it. I just want to text in and talk about how resilient Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback. Everyone was complaining about his shakiness in the first half and in certain games, but the bottom line, especially after the bye, is he finds a way to win when the game is on the line, and that type of resiliency is a special trait.
So you've got a good balance. Are you seeing a balance with the Hurts thing?
It's a lot of balance. It's probably 60% negative, 40 positive. What I've seen so far.
60 negative.
Yes, and 40 positive.
Interesting. All right, give me one on the birds in general.
Okay, we got one here. Let's see this one. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, this is Ali from Scranton. I'm happy about the win last night. I'm feeling really good about our defense, and I'm excited for the rest of our season. But they're never mind. That's a Jalen Hurts one. It stuck off of me on the bottom there. Here, we got this one.
He's worried about Hurts?
It was the last thing. Hurts,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Real quick, this is VT Ron. Here's the deal. The biggest difference this year is the coordinators. You have a better OC and DC than last year. The whole change in coordinators from bad to good is going to elevate this team to the championship. Go Birds.
All right. Let's get to the phones. Rick in Easton is joining us. What's up, Rick?
Hey, Mike, a quick question. When you bought up Akers, did you get back on his Christmas card list?
On whose? Akers? No,
Yeah.
I think that David sees me as Satan.
That ship sailed, huh?
Yeah, I think he sees me as Satan. I don't
By
think.
the way, I saw last night from my seat, Elliott and Sirianni had a Jaws and Vermeil moment where he came over and consoled him and said, "Don't worry about the booze. You're my kicker," just like Vermeil told Jaws back in 1980.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't worry about
That's
that.
what a
You're
good coach does, Rick.
There you go.
Instills
Hey, Mikey,
confidence in a struggling
much
guy.
good.
Yep, you're coming
Hey,
around,
Mikey.
Mike.
Mikey, between your skin cancer checks and your secret deodorant and your leakage, you're sharing a lot of personal hygiene and health.
Yeah, that's
issues
what
with
I
the
do. That's what I've always done. My life becomes the people's lives.
So, listen, real quick with your Penn State players. Hey, listen, Franco had 4 rings. Barkley's, I think, still has a long way to go to do what Franco did. And you know what the problem is with the Penn State players? Sean Lee's, the Arringtons, the Johnsons at KC, Kajana Carter, Cephalo, they just never really have a big body of work.
They've been mostly injured.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
That's cut their career. That's what I'm saying. Like Saquon is probably the most talented. He was more talented than Franco Harris. I mean, no question about it.
So, like yesterday before the game, I told you I was heading down. My SEC shootout didn't really happen until the fourth quarter, so they finally lighted up the scoreboard in the fourth quarter. But I think the Georgia Bulldog defense under Fangino is really going to be
Come on, man. Come on.
That was a joke, right?
Can't get any respect.
That was a joke.
Kirk Herbstreit.
Fangino.
Come on, Herbie.
So I had a grandpa, Gino, but his name was Lewis. I have no idea why we called him Gino. And then his son's named Lewis, and we call him Gigi. No idea.
Italian name.
That's it.
Yeah,
Italian names flummox guys named Herbstreit.
Yeah, they do. He wouldn't be able to say anybody on this show.
Gino.
I just can't get over. Vic Fangio is pretty Italian. He made him even more Italian than he is.
It did because I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. It ends in a vowel. What the hell? We pronounce it any way we want.
Yeah.
We put a stereotype on a pizza box. Who cares?
Well, I told you the story.
No respect.
I was trying to get dual citizenship with Italy a few years back, so I had to pull all these old documents. And I called my buddies over at City Hall in Philly because I used to work down there. I had to get my great-grandparents' marriage license from like the early 1900s. They had to go into the archives to get it. And he gives it to me, and it says on there that my great-great-grandfather, Giuseppe Colarulo's occupation in Italy, macaroni maker. Now, I guarantee you that was not his occupation. It was probably somebody who, when they came in for the marriage license, where's your dad? Italy? He's probably a damn macaroni maker.
Spaghetti bender.
Macaroni maker.
He tosses dough in the air.
Yeah, macaroni maker. I got that document. Pretty good one.
Italians get no respect. Italians are the least sensitive people ever, though. They never complain. I complain. But
I'd complain, but who would listen?
610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles comeback win. I'm Tom Alvord, and this update is brought to you by Progressive. Yes, your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Yes, the Eagles beat the Commanders last night in comeback fashion by a score of 26-18 on Thursday Night Football. This despite scoring just 6 points through 3 quarters and Jake Elliott missing 3 kicks on the night. Defense was fantastic. They had 3 sacks, an interception, and held Washington to 3 for 12 on 3rd down. Zach Bond led the team in tackles with 15 total. Nick Sirianni spoke post-game and talked a little bit about his defense shutting down Terry McLaurin.
Our guys did a nice job going against them. I think it started up front. We were able to get some pressure on the quarterback and force some scrambles, but just good team defense, and a lot of credit to Q, a lot of credit to Slay.
Eagles are now 8-2 on the year and first in the NFC East. Flyers beat the Senators on the road last night in OT thanks to a game winner by Matvei Michkov. And the Sixers head to Orlando to face the Magic tonight at 7 o'clock in their second NBA Cup game. This update is also brought to you by Topgolf. Sonic the Hedgehog and friends arrived at Topgolf at supersonic speed today with the launch of the new Topgolf game, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now exclusively available to play at Topgolf venues across the U.S. I'm Tom Alvord on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, the Sixers play tonight, by the way, in Orlando. I assume that Embiid and George will play. We haven't heard anything other than that, and still, the Magic are a favorite, slight at home, minus a point and a half. They don't have Banchero right now, and they've been playing well. They're a favor over the Sixers with them being George in the lineup, though?
I guess so. Yeah, they lost 5 straight when he went out, and then they won 4 straight now. And they're playing really good defense. I guess Vegas just doesn't trust the Sixers team yet. And how could you until we see that Joel is healthy? And
The line has gone down, by the way. The Sixers actually started as a 3.5-point favorite. But Magic money was coming in. The Magic were plus 3.5. They are now minus a point and a half. Some cash coming in on Orlando.
On FanDuel, they're minus 2.5.
Does that tell you they're not playing, maybe? Or one of them's not playing?
I can't imagine that they would have to both be playing tonight, no? What's the Sixers schedule from this point on? Would they be saving somebody for a bigger game? Orlando's a pretty big game for them tonight.
It's an NBA Cup game.
So it's an NBA Cup. They have to play. Both of them have to play.
They got their normal schedule. They got Friday, then they don't play till Monday.
It's an NBA Cup game tonight. They have to play. They both have to be in the lineup, and they're now an underdog. That's interesting. All right, let's go to Randall in Philly. Randall, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Randall.
Hey, Mike, how you doing,
What's
man?
up, buddy?
Not much. I just wanted to talk about my guy, Jake Elliott, man.
Yes, sir.
I know he's going through a tough time right now, but I had saw in the middle of the game that this is only the second time that Jake Elliott has actually missed 2 field goals in a game.
Yep.
This is the second time in his career.
Yep.
And I think the last time was 2019. So, to me, we got to have faith, man, that he's going to clean this up because this is only the second time in his career. That means he's been able to stay consistent his whole career.
No, I agree with you. He's a quality kicker, and I would, you got to keep riding it. I just wonder, like, the mindset of a kicker, because I've seen it before. Great kickers, start out, they're great, and they just, for some reason, they hit a wall and they get passed around.
Yeah, I get you, man, but this is the kicker that we had in the Super Bowl, and this is the best kicker that we've had for the Eagles of all time. He's the greatest kicker we ever had, so I'm gonna still have faith in him, and I'm gonna just hope and pray that he cleans this up because all he's shown us is he's been capable of it.
I got you. Listen, I saw more with you. I'm not impatient. These were my buddies last night. My buddy Chuck's going, well, I guess he's not going to be here. Come on, man. You can't just discard a kicker. You just ride through a bad night.
Yeah, you can't do it yet, but I'm not going to freak out about it, but we need to see him clean it up over the next couple of weeks. You can't be dealing with this late into the season, being worried now about your kicker.
Hey, that last extra point almost missed.
Yeah,
he was really struggling with the hook, which means his swing is off. It wasn't in the what they call the slot.
So maybe it'll be good. He's got 10 days off before the next game. He gets it together. They come back. They're playing in L.A. It's indoors, right? L.A.'s an indoor stadium.
Yeah, he's really got to work hard during these 10 days of hanging out with other kickers and bopping around a beach ball and maybe mixing in a little badminton. And,
Is this why Akers doesn't like you?
The stuff that kickers do.
Is this why Akers doesn't like you? Is that what happened? Did that happen on the air with Akers?
Yes. Oh, I mean, this was There are a lot of things that stand out in my career. One of them is my war with Skip Bayless. One of them is a war with Michael Wilbon. And one of them is when David Akers called into the show. Because the circumstance was, I have a very low tolerance for for a kicker he's not a football player, right? So I have very little tolerance for a kicker who acts like a football player.
And you felt like Akers did that?
So this was the kick where he pulled his hamstring in the game, and he managed to make an extra point with the pulled hamstring. And in the end, they took a picture of him resting his weary head in the bosom of Donovan McNabb, and it was on the Daily News back cover, as if like he had gone through, like he had gone underground in Vietnam, and got under barbed wire to seize a hill or something. Right?
I'm sure it hurt.
Yeah, but
with the
was
torn
like,
hamstring.
It was like he was resting his weary head in McNabb's bosom. You know?
Wait, so he heard this and called in angry?
Yes. No, first Jeremiah Trotter called in and said, hey, I mean, but he called in like joking around because I knew Trotter. What are you doing to my boy David? Well, that was that kind of conversation. Sure enough, somebody had called Akers saying that I was ripping him, and he called into the show.
So Akers definitely isn't a fan of this show because I told you my story where he almost fought me on the sidelines. I told you that story before,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
So Akers was mad at you. I'm having a catch with him and the punter, Savraka, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And Akers dropped it. And I made the joke, and I said, that's why you're the kicker. And you would have thought I called his mother a name.
Yeah, he was very sensitive
got in my face
to not being classified as an athlete. And to me, a kicker has to know his place. I mean, let's face it. You're not going through the workouts that a football player is going. You're not sweating and toiling like a football player. You're not going through training camp like a real football player. But he, at that day when he called in, was trying to like boast about his athleticism.
Well, you are an athlete. Like Jake Elliott is, they say, maybe the best athlete on the team.
Dude, enough. Okay? I don't care that you're an athlete and you play ping pong or you're a good golfer. You're not a football player. So just know your place. So when you call in and you try to justify what a great athlete you are so you can get respect as a football player, it still doesn't work with me. And that's what he was trying to do. And he said to me, I'll beat you in every sport. Well, okay, well, that's really not the point. Well, but if you want to play that little game and be a child, I said, you're acting like a child. Or I think I said something different.
I kind of hope Jake Elliott's listening, so he calls in and we make it 2 for 2.
Yeah, no, I respect successful kickers. I respected David Akers as a respected kicker. But I just thought it was a bit much that he kicked an extra point with a pulled hamstring. And it's
probably painful, dude.
We were supposed to.
It's probably painful as could be.
Okay. I don't think that it's enough to rest your weary head in the bosom of a quarterback who actually plays football. That's all.
You can tell. You hear Mike's journalism background coming out, the way he describes that.
100%.
Your weary head in the bosom of Donovan McNabb.
I looked at the guy. It was ridiculous. I go, man, he's really milking this moment. My God. He kicked an extra point with a pulled hamstring. All right, I got it. It's not like season a hill. That's all.
I agree with you to an extent. Kickers aren't necessarily football players, but they are athletes. They are athletes, but they're not.
That's not really the point that they're athletes. I don't care if they're athletes. It doesn't matter. They're not athletes in the context of being a football player.
But unfortunately, they dictate the outcomes of a lot of games.
They're a necessary evil.
They are a necessary evil.
Jeremy in Sicklerville, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jeremy.
Hey, Mike, what's up, my man?
What's going on, Jeremy? How you doing?
You know what, Mike? A lot of people love you, and a lot of people hate you. And this is how life is. I love you, though. I love you.
Well,
I really do.
I appreciate the love, Jeremy.
Yeah, buddy. You know, all of the predictions I made based on my dream, even though I missed you, on some of the calls prior to these past games. But I call in on other programs and I made predictions, including even last night game with the Washington Commanders. Mm-hmm. And I said that, because everybody said, oh, the Commanders are superb, they are this, they are that. But again, my dream told me that, the Eagles was going to defeat the Commanders, and they did yesterday. So you remember when I told you the first 3-4 games the Eagles was going to win, and then the following, I think 2, and then the Commanders. So when I dream, I dream.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Based on my tradition, Mike. When I dream about Mike and said, "Do not go to work tomorrow. Stay home. You better."
Yeah, so you got superpowers. Yeah, you're in a groove with the occult. I got you.
So this is what it is. So all of my dreams after Eagles came up really bad some weeks back, every dream I've had come to realization. And so, the game in L.A., I am telling you, I will call you next week Thursday. I will call you.
Are you telling me you're going to dream this week about the result?
Mike, when I tell you, look, I come from a strong traditional background in Africa. I grew up in one of the thickest forests in Africa, in Liberia, before going to the city for school and all of that. I grew up with my grandfather. We hunted. I saw animals. I saw leopards and lions and you name it. I saw snakes. I saw everything. Going to hunt with my grandfather when I was as young as 10 years old.
Oh my God! Your life must have been amazing. Were you living in the brush? So you weren't near like a city like Monrovia?
No, I live in the north in Nimba, and that is where we have the one of the biggest mountains, in Nimba in Liberia. In fact, this is where we now have the mining going on. All the iron ore and stuff like that. This is where it comes from.
I want to do a book with you, Jeremy. I think you have a life that might be good in a book.
Mike, I will appreciate it because remember, as a broadcast journalist in Liberia, I experienced and encountered everything with regards to the Civil War. I'm telling you.
God, listen, Jeremy, I want to hear your story. Email me. All right, email me at this address, MikeMiss@bbgi.com.
Yeah, I'm driving right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to work, so I don't know how.
Well, just remember that if you can remember it, Mike Miss, you can remember that, right? And then just bbgi.com. That's very simple.
Yeah, Mike Miss bbgi.com.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, Mike.
All right, buddy, you got it. That's fast. I love stories like this because, like my buddy, actually survived a coup in Liberia, and also the one in Rwanda. And my buddy worked for an organization called USAID, which is the health planning arm of the State Department, and he literally survived 2 coups. He was in the middle of 2 coups.
So he's got some stories.
Yeah, amazing stories.
See? You get it all on this show.
Let's go to Glenn in Wallingford. Glenn, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Glenn.
Well, I definitely don't have anything as interesting as that for you, Mike. But,
yeah.
But hey, listen.
Wait, there's no brush in Wallingford?
No, man, no.
Okay.
Just a trestle and some jogging pads.
Okay, I got
That's about it. So, hey, listen, last night was a nice win, right? I mean, I kind of expected it because of the short week and the circumstances, right? But, I hate Thursday night. You'll never convince me that Thursday night games are good for football players or for the fans because, again, the game was so sloppy and the offenses were kind of, off the whole time. And it was not an enjoyable game until the last 8 minutes of the game for the Eagles, right? I mean, it's just
you're right about that. In fact, my buddy here, Bill here, I saw a tweet he put it out, and he and like another guy works here, Kevin Cooney, was saying they hate the Thursday night games. It's a cheap imitation of NFL football just to make some money for the league, and the quality is usually not good.
Absolutely, and listen, I love football. I do hate the hypocrisy of the NFL, and this is just part of it, right? I mean, they try to put, whether it's breast cancer awareness or for the veterans, it's all for great causes, but at the end of the day, it's just the hypocrisy to make more money.
But the other side of it, Glenn, is we really need our football. We need as many days as possible, right? People can't do that. Like, what do we do tonight? There's no football game on, or there's no sporting event on. Like, we need that.
You got Tyson and Paul tonight.
Tonight, yeah, but on Thursday night we got Ugats.
Yeah, I got my night. I'll be watching Temple at BC at 7:00, and then I'll tune in for the Jake Paul Tyson fight.
The Owls are on tonight. Is that an ESPN Plus game? Is Ray Dunn doing that game?
I don't think so.
No? All right.
It is an ESPN Plus. I don't know if Ray Dunn's doing it or not, but I tell you what, his beard's impressive, man. I don't get to see him because he's on the radio most of the time. But when I see him do the ESPN Plus stuff, man, that beard's really impressive.
Yeah, he's got a red beard. He's got a red 24-year-old kid with a full red beard.
Wait, who does Temple have tonight? Oh, Boston College?
Boston College.
Be a tough game for them.
Ray's down in Virginia for women's basketball tonight.
Oh, is he?
Right, Tom? Is that where he is?
Yes, Richmond.
Let's see the Owls tonight against BC. That'll be a test for them. BC.
Yeah, it will be. You know, we always have great people in the chat on Ray.
Yes, we do.
There were some funny ones today.
What was it?
Well, one, they thought that Ray was at a Mensa meeting because of his 1540 SAT.
Yeah.
And then MBD said that Nick Foles saw Ray in the shower and said, "Wow." Tom shakes his head.
Arnold Palmer, all of a sudden?
Tom shakes his head.
How's
everyone doing?
It's time for closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
All right, my closing argument. What else could it be? I witnessed the game last. Listen, I thought they were stronger than the Washington Commanders as far as the supremacy race for their division. And I saw last night a team that was way better than Washington. Washington not ready for prime time. The Eagles are ready for prime time. And the reason why they're ready for prime time is because of their defense. That is solid from minute one to the final minute. Their defense has been solid, so I'll give a lot of credit to the players they assembled to put on that defense and the coordinator, who we looked at a little earlier in the season and said, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Is he really a good defensive coordinator? Well, they're good. And defense travels, and defense keeps you in games. And so last night when the offense struggled, the defense was consistent throughout, and it didn't take that much offensively to win that game last night. So that's what I took out of that Eagles game. They're a bona fide contender in the conference with Detroit, and we'll see how that all shakes out. Billy Boy?
Mike, I was subdued for 4 hours almost. I've been waiting for it. The fans wanted it. People were tweeting at me last night, calling for it. People in the YouTube chat were calling for it. So, Tommy, hit it. Sirianni knows how to coach.
Oh, my God.
Sirianni knows how to coach in the city of brotherly love. We keep on winning. He keeps on winning.
Oh,
Sirianni love, baby.
I thought I was going to go home and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Now I have a sour stomach.
Well, you have a great weekend. And Eagles fans are going to have a great weekend. We get to relax on Sunday and watch the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, there you go. Watch college football tomorrow. Bill won't be, but I'll be watching it. And maybe play golf. Tom Alford, a tremendous job substituting today for Ray Dunn. Nice job, Tom.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It was fun.
All right, Billy, you have a great weekend. Everybody else out there, have a great weekend and be safe out there. And we'll talk to you Monday without an Eagles game. So we'll be very creative.
There's going to be plenty to talk about.
Can't wait. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.